gearing up for war, don't get it mixed up. I come in peace. I'm bringing commentary and the new releases. I put them hours in. They get play on X, scared. Draw you on a fours, I can tear down. If you ain't tuned into the channel, keep your head down. Cut the fix up with some Xbox babies, put the switch up. See me gearing up for war, don't get it mixed up. I come in peace, kid. I'm bringing commentary and the new releases. I put them hours in. They get prepared now. We play on expert level, don't get scared now. I'ma destroy you on a fours, I can tear down. If you ain't tuned into the channel, keep your head down.
Welcome to your doom. I'm sorry. Welcome to The Fix. You're here with your boy, Infinite Umbra, and I'm joined by my co-star, Daniel J. McGee. Yeah, man, it has been a great week. We have 3 outstanding, I was going to say 4, including Danny, but we have 3 outstanding guests, and I'll start running down through them now. And shout out to everybody in the chat. I will get to you guys momentarily. I'll start with what I see first on the screen, and that will be the legendary Yoby. Yoby, what's up, my good brother? Welcome to the show. Indeed, indeed. You know, I just realized something. I think that I don't have any gameplay playing, do I? Yeah, let me. Yeah, well, yeah. Listen. One of the prerequisites of getting on the show is that you cannot down the rock ally, okay? That's one of the Oh man. Uh-oh, let me make sure that you're good. Hold on one second. I'll make up for it with some stellar yams. Now let me make sure you guys are good. What's stupid is I had just checked that to make sure that you guys were good, and it shows. Oh, you know what it is? I think it's because I added. Sorry, guys in the chat. It's because I added this this new headset right here. So this headset, it should, yeah, that's a 60. This new headset, I think this new sound cores I have.
To make a joke, I think it's because he's doing this podcast from his rock ally.
Yeah.
Now that's just gonna help MJ Dark.
I'm pretty sure they can hear you guys now. I want to see something because Discord challenged it and changed it. That's what.
Let me turn on the couch for Yoby. Middle finger to you.
If you can hear us, give us a hell yeah in the chat.
If you can hear us, give us a hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
What?
Who said the rock is flimsy? Erican. I don't want to listen. I don't want to.
All I gotta say is that he's on point, man.
I don't want to remove any.
Oh, he's got
yeah, you're right for that. You're right for that. Hey,
got that bot technology.
So it was Discord. Discord, when I had this new wireless headset, it changed the audio source to this on its own. Thank you, Discord, for messing us up. But Yes, let's redo the
Should I
intro. That's
upload?
perfect. Luckily, we didn't get too far, TZ, so it works out. So I'll go back and let's start over. The legendary Yoby. Yoby, brother, welcome to the show. Your first time with us. What have you been up to, and what have you been playing?
It is Mr. Peace, Love, Life itself. Appreciate you guys inviting me on. Thank you. My first time being here, my debut episode, and I have been playing. I beat Suicide Squad. I beat the main story, so that's gonna stay on my rotation because I'm waiting for the future content and all that other good stuff.
I take it you
I am-
enjoyed it then.
Oh, I enjoyed it, man. Listen, I loved it. I enjoyed every single second of it, and I can't wait to get back into it.
The gameplay's fun, man. I
the
beat
gameplay's fun
I
as
beat the
hell.
campaign too. It's fun.
All right.
So other games that I've been into, I'm gonna let you know right now because I got it on my recent tabs. Oh, I was just playing a little bit of Fallout 4 on my PC earlier. I had to get back
Oh.
into it because I'm trying to get back into it for the new update and all that.
I see.
I'm currently playing Evil West. That game is fire.
Nice. That game is nice. Yep.
I just
Nice.
got back into No Man's Sky, even though I beat the story, which is that's a topic for another day. The story is
Tough
just it's all over the place, but yeah, No Man's
Evil
Sky,
West. Evil West is in Game Pass, right?
It is in Game Pass, but shout out to Level 1 Gaming because they gifted me this game like last year,
Oh, that's awesome.
and it was always in my games to get to. So when I beat No More Heroes 3, I jumped into Evil West. Then kind of found out the next day it was in Game Pass. So
Look at Taki. Check out Taki, man. Oh, sorry, I got distracted. My bad.
It's all good. Anybody who didn't play on Game Pass, go play Lego 2K Drive.
Yep.
That game is fun as hell, bro. And the coolest thing about it, I don't know if you guys know, but they have a community creations. So you could download 3 variants of different cars, right? So like I downloaded the Batmobile, right? So I'm driving on the road. It's got the regular Batmobile. Now when you drive on the dirt, it switches to a different iteration of another Batmobile from the ones I downloaded. And then if I drive on the water, it switched to the Batmobile for the water. So it's low key slick. It's like
The
yeah,
Aquamobile. All right.
whatever the damn name.
No, I'm making up stuff. Don't listen to me.
Nah, it's fun. It's like a kart racer / regular racer / I guess it has like an open world aspect of it, just a tiny bit, but it's fun as hell.
All
And
right.
I've been playing a little bit of Guilty Gears
Guilty Gear.
and
Okay.
Nice.
and Marvel Midnight Suns. I beat that, but the story is just too good because I do want to play with Storm. And I was playing Bright Memory Infinite as well.
You know what
Yeah,
this?
that was
you know
a
what?
good
Do
demo.
you know what happens to a frog when lightning hits it, Yobi?
Nah, why don't you tell me, sir?
Same thing that happens to everyone else.
What a horrible line.
Bro, mute your mic forever.
Hey,
Horrible line.
tell them, and it wasn't my fault.
Oh man,
That's
that
what
was
they
bad.
had.
Forever, bro.
That's
Go
what they
on.
had Storm tell us. Yeah,
Oh,
they had
that's so
Holly
bad.
Berry Storm tell us. But yeah, brother, thank you for being here. Really appreciate you coming through.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Hey, pleasure's all mine. And
I was amazed when you asked me. I was like, wait, huh?
why are you so
Like, hell
amazed?
yeah, let's go.
I rocks
What's
with
up,
the
bro?
community. Yeah, you know I rocks with you. Listen, for me, just so everybody in the chat would know, and
Dude,
tease-
I can't
others
remember
know.
the last person who invited me to a podcast, you know?
Well, I know you've been on Lemons before. Shout out to 108.
Oh, yeah.
Grace.
Oh, yeah, that's my brother. Always.
Yeah, so I know you've been there, but like it's nothing for me as far as that goes. I like reaching out to the community in general, and I want to do that more. My only gripe would be that everybody has to have at least a decent mic to talk into, right? That's my only prerequisite. And once I talk with you, you showed me the imagery, and you were like, oh, hey, look,
yeah,
I'm ready.
I've been set up.
Yeah, I didn't know. I was like, okay, hey, I could have been done this. I didn't know. But
Right.
yeah, I want to get other people in. I've talked to TZ about it in the past and things like that and others. So yeah, and we have brought other people through as well
True
that are
that,
not
true.
like well-known, podcasters or anything like that. But yeah, brother, thank you. And next on the
Thank
list
you.
here, at least on the screen, I'm going to go by what we see on the screen, is the illustrious MJD, Mr. Joanna Dark. Mr. Joanna Dark, welcome to the podcast for the first time, brother. No ROG ally slander will be tolerated, my good sir. What
Too late.
Hey man,
yeah,
you know the
Like,
Great Monad's doing it in the chat, so I don't have to do. I did my job. I'm not doing anything.
yeah.
So, but no, thank you for inviting me. It's great to be on the show. Excited to talk about today's topics. Especially, I just finished episode 2 of Fallout.
Yeah,
Yes.
As before the show started, I had to make sure that I finished that, and it was fantastic.
Man.
Yeah, I mean, as far as what I've been playing, I'm always playing so many different games, but my top 3 right now that I'm kind of fixated on is Children of the Sun. If you guys haven't seen it, it's this indie game where it's a sniper puzzle game where you sort of think of it like Sniper Elite, but in like cell shaded. And what you're doing is you're tagging all the enemies, and you use one shot to basically kill them all in one single bullet.
Oh, I saw that. It's like Wanted, but not, because you're curving bullets basically.
Yeah, so the game starts simple, and you can go through fire and all that, and you
Right.
can use the environment to kind of give you an extra boost to kind of hit the environment. But then you start curving the bullets as you get later in the game, and you kind of gotta survey the land. And what's cool about it is that it actually has a leaderboard, so I'm trying to beat each level over and over to see if I can beat whoever is the top within that level. And you start noticing, hey, the less time you spend, you get penalized. So they want you to really explore and kind of see where you can get the best shot to spot up.
Nice.
So it's pretty cool. The other one is Pepper Grinder.
Pepper Grinder. Now,
so-
are these games on Steam specifically?
These
or-
are all on Steam.
Okay.
I played the prequel, Salt Shaker, I think it was called. I played the prequel.
Yeah. So Pepper Grinder is Ori meets Mr. Driller. It's a really cool, about 3 to 4 hours, and it's like a really cool platformer. They used sort of the Ori mechanic where you can sort of aim, and then whenever you aim, you kind of sort of move in that direction. It's a pretty cool game. It's pretty short, and I'm just going back and forth to kind of see where I can kind of pick up like extra things and decorate my character. Then the final game I've been on is Persona 3 Reloaded. I'm trying to get through it because I know this month Yuden Chronicles is coming out, so I want to kind of get this JRPG out of the way and kind of go into the next one.
Yeah, we got a lot coming up actually. Also, we have Stellar Yams, which is on the screen now, coming up later this month, right?
Yeah, I mean, this demo was dope.
Game of the year.
I enjoyed it a lot. Honestly, I legitimately liked it so much that I bought the deluxe edition.
So you want to accessorize her in her great outfits?
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
Okay.
I'm probably going to be more modest with her. I'm going to put her on the Bruce Lee out. I dubbed it the Bruce Lee. What's the name of that Game of Death outfit? That's what it looked like. So I'm going to put her in that. So she's going to be more modest on my end. I know others will be like, look at the physics. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to be respectful.
It's a great game. I like the combat. I think the demo did a good job, and I hope it can continue with the enemy variety. I definitely, see the Nier. Another thing it reminds me of is Scarlet Nexus, if you guys played that game. So I'm excited. Again, I'm a huge fan of Bayonetta. I love Nier Automata. So hopefully this is another person we can kind of add to that tier of like Devil May Cry style games,
Yeah. For me, my takeaway was Devil May Cry or Bayonetta / Souls. That's what I got from it. And Souls only in the sense of how it does this targeting system. It's clear with a little white dot in the middle of the enemy. You know what I mean?
The Souls-like thing, I would say more of like, when you go and rest and and then the enemies come out.
That too.
But I think it's a little bit more than it's not as Souls-like, which it may push people away, but it's not Dark Souls and anything like that. But it does have a cool mechanic, kind of like Sekiro, where you can kind of counter and all that. So, pretty cool.
Yeah, no, it's not like Souls in a typical combat fashion. Only in certain elements, like what you said with the resting and enemies return, or for instance, the white little dot in the middle of an enemy that now your stance is limited to how you back up or whatever and strafe, but you do have much more maneuverability with Eve versus anybody in a Dark Souls type of game. Yeah, but it's really good. I honestly wrote it off at first, like I don't think it's going to be much, but after the demo, I really was like,
the game is definitely more than just a pretty face, because for a long time, a lot of people were just saying that this game is going to be all fluff and no stuff. and I think that demo proved people wrong. So
I think
like
that
that.
the reason people might have been on the fence is we've seen a lot of these type of games either that are from Korean developers or Chinese developers that wow us, and sometimes they just fall off the radar. They're never completed for some reason. So we're always kind of on the fence. So it's good to see that this is one of the games we saw. You know, I've been waiting for Wukong. Is it Wukong? Yeah, right. Wukong.
yeah,
Yeah,
Black Myth, Wukong.
yeah. So I thought that game was, you know, I hope it wasn't sort of a scam, but it seems like it's gonna come out. So I'm glad that also Stellar Blade is real and we're gonna get to play it this month.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, brother. Well, thank you for joining us. Shout out to everybody else joining in the chat. And of course, last but not least, as far as guests go, at least, returning, I would say member, almost said member, but a returning guest and friend, John Wolf. John Wolf, thanks for joining us tonight, brother. What have you been up to and what have you been doing?
Yeah, thanks, Umbra, for the invite, and Daniel as well. Always love being on the show, man. And of course, me, you, and MJ Dark, we talk on a daily basis. But other than that, man, good to be on with Yoby. I see him always, always supportive on so many different podcasts, and I just want to say that positivity that you bring always is very welcoming. It's a great thing, and I just want to. I want to compliment you on that. And also, man, I love podcasting with Daniel. It makes me crack up. I've missed you on that Boom show. I think on Tuesday or something like that. I think you bring a lot of good thoughts and stuff like that. MJ Dark with his slander. I don't know about that, man. I don't know. I don't know if I'm ready for that today. But
No, I don't do anything. I just stay quiet. You're the ones that started, so just let you know.
You're right. I do.
Even
I
Daniel
do.
McGee can't slander the Switch now.
I do like to throw stones. That's true.
I
don't know. I don't know why you think I'll stop.
I was gonna say, don't test him now.
Yeah, I mean, but
right now.
I did watch Fallout, the first episode, to be ready for the show. We'll have our thoughts on that. I only watched the first episode because work got a little crazy at the end there. But other than that, just playing through Yakuza 0. MJ Dark and a couple of our friends told us to kind of check that out. That I would really like the Yakuza franchise, which I am. I'm about 20 something hours now on Yakuza 0, and I completely have fallen in love with the series. I think that Kiryu is an amazing character. Goro as well. It's nice to be in the Yakuza lore, and kind of around the 10 to 12 hour mark was when it really hit me that how special the game is in different ways. So I'm gonna be playing through that franchise, try to go through that little by little, and I do want to pick up a second game, which I'm thinking that it's gonna be Destiny 2. Just to play Yakuza and like I need also something to play on the side, kind of like a shooter, because that's my go-to always, like turn off the brain and just shoot things. So I think I'm gonna get into I'm gonna get back into Destiny 2 to try out this upcoming final what DLC or whatever that they're doing. So looking forward to that.
Shape, is it the final shape or something like that?
Something like that. I'm trying to do a little bit more research.
Rookie edition.
Yeah, the save us from getting taken over edition. Yes. So I pre-ordered that, and I also pre-ordered Stellar Yams, which if you see I'm all over the place, it's because I can't concentrate on what I'm saying. But definitely I'm looking forward to Stellar Blade. I already pre-ordered it. I've been looking forward to it. I love action oriented games. They're really my favorite besides shooters. Like for example, for Ninja Theory and Sony Santa Monica, I really miss when they used to make those action games. Like what they make now is really special, but man, I just miss like a good action game. So this has me really excited. And other than that, just WrestleMania this past weekend, man. Watching wrestling, and I know we're gonna get into that. So I'm not gonna take up any more time on this intro, man. Let's get started and let's do what we gotta do.
As our good brother Rocky Maivia told us, wrestling is cool again, John. That's what I feel.
Now, do you call it wrestling or wrestling?
I
'Cause there's
call
a
it
difference.
wrestling. Typically, I call
Okay,
it
then.
wrestling. Danny always makes fun of it. Yeah, it's with the S with me. I can't even help it. I try to say it
Okay.
professionally. It still comes off as wrestling.
And damn that. We said how
Yeah.
There you go,
No.
Yoby. Thank you. I'm glad I got
Damn all
somebody backing me up on this. Yeah,
Damn all that is wrestling.
it's wrestling. And
Now,
it's
do you
cool
say
again.
ECW or EC Dub? EC Dub. Now,
You
there's
say
a difference
ECW.
there too.
I say W. Yeah,
I say Dub. Okay.
EC Dub. Okay, yeah. Well,
Yeah,
I mean, they don't exist anymore, so we don't have to worry about that. But anyway,
I mean, it's on Peacock and the network.
well, yeah, okay, well,
Like,
I mean, they exist in name only. How about that? Because it's not.
What did
really...
Yoby say? Did he say he said Peacock? No Diddy though. After that, okay.
No Diddy.
Do you say Mario or Mario?
Mario.
Mario.
Yeah.
Mario. That's the. correct
I
way to say it.
actually get highly irritated when I hear Mario. Actually, it makes me.
Yep.
I don't
Oh,
know
dude.
why, but it just sounds
I
wrong.
never understood when people say Mario, and I always
Me
say to
either.
myself, I'm like, it's Mario.
I was like, he never says it's me Mario. He says it's me Mario. So
Right.
I don't understand.
It's me, Mario. No. Like it sounds like a Jewish person from New York saying his name. Hey Mario. Like nah.
It sounds like Meek Mills on that video when he was telling.
Oh,
Mama,
there was some like clapping noise also in that. Never mind.
Oh
Yo.
no. Listen, I don't want Meek
his
mad
mic
at this.
forever.
I don't want Meek mad at this podcast because he seems to find everybody who talks about him. So I'm gonna stray away from that.
I mean, if he disses you like J. Cole, don't worry, man.
Yeah.
Listen, Meek needs to worry about PR. Don't worry about us.
Gray said, "I'm trying to make everybody pregnant the way I say it." Which way am I saying it, Gray?
Oh,
Hold on.
Wrestling is cool.
yeah, wrestling.
Wrestling. So yeah, and last but not least, my illustrious haired co-star Daniel J. McG. What have you been up to, brother? And what have you been playing?
Not a ton. Playing wise, I jump back into definitively the worst Kingdom Hearts game, which is Chain of Memories, because I had played the original one like late last year, and I wanted to continue like playing through that series. So I picked, because I bought the 1.5 or whatever remix thing.
Yeah.
And so that was the next thing in there, and it's man, I hate that one so much. That's the one where they swapped out the combat for cards, and there's no faster way to ruin a game than to make it a card game.
What did that originally release on, Daniel?
It originally released, it released on the DS.
That's why.
And then it re-released on the PS2 like 4 or 5 years later. And it honestly probably worked better on the DS, because in the DS you didn't have to like move around and fight. Exactly. It was just strictly a card game. Whereas when they moved it to the PS2, it was like it still played like an action game, or like a character action game, but just on top of moving your character around and like having to dodge and jump and stuff, you also had to have a deck, and like the only way to swing your sword is to play a card that's a higher number than the person you're fighting against's card, and then like I don't know, it's really dumb, it's super irritating. I'm probably
what you should do, Daniel, is what I did.
So.
Go on YouTube and just watch the final minutes of that game, and you'll be up to date on whatever's happening in Kingdom Hearts, because that's what I did.
Yeah, I mean, you don't even really need to, because in Chain of Memories, it's just a complete waste of time, because it's like you're just playing back through the levels from the first game.
Yep.
So it's really just like the most pointless Kingdom Hearts game, and that's saying something, because there's a lot.
Are you kind of like a completionist like I am, that even though that it's painful, you still want to do it? You know what I'm saying? You still want to go through it just to say that you completed it?
Yes and no. Like, I've beaten it before, so I don't have any reason to force myself to finish it. But I'll probably give it like one more play. So I just finished, like, you get the world cards in sets. I just finished the whole first set and then beat the boss that's in the middle there. And I might do like one more sit down and see if I can make the card system not completely suck for me.
You're just a masochist. I got it. Okay.
Yeah,
I guess. Yourself.
I'll probably play it like one more time, and if I can't, if I'm still hating it at that point, then I'll just skip ahead and do the next one, because all of the other Kingdom Hearts games are much better.
Now, when you play
Other
these
than that,
Kingdom Heart games, do you have to like wear like any memorabilia, like a keychain or something like that with the key ring, sword?
yeah,
or...
I put my baby Binky in, and I take my chair out and I put it on the porch, and I sit in a baby Bjorn instead.
There
there
you go.
That's the way.
That's the way you play it, man.
It's the most comfortable way to play for me personally. Is I can't play I can't play a Disney game unless I'm properly swaddled. So
and drugged up too, because the story's crazy. You're like, huh?
You know, that's the thing is like, because people say that and they're right, but at the same time, like it's not any weirder than your average like Final Fantasy game or anything. So I guess I'm just used to it. I think if you just play a lot of JRPGs, then that kind of really bad storytelling is just like not unusual to you. Because like Final Fantasy games are insane with their, like, if you try and follow the story of the 13 trilogy, good luck, buddy.
Yeah,
like,
I don't even want to play. That's like that's the JRPG. Lightning is the Square version of Aloy, so I do not play that game. But...
she's definitely worse than Aloy, because at least Aloy is like in a game that is playable. Final Fantasy 13, like I play Horizon and I understand what the story is. I don't really care for it too much, but I understand what's happening. I play Final Fantasy 13 and I'm like, okay, so what's a Lassie and what's a Fal'Cie, and then what's going on? And now she's Jesus? When did she become Jesus?
I mean, it's like Kingdom Hearts, right? Sora has like all these different Soras, and you're like, wait, which Sora are you? Yeah, I'm the one from this game. I was like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, it's just like that.
Yeah. Well, because in Kingdom Hearts, there's Sora, and then there's was it Roxas, who's Sora, but he's Sora's nobody, who is a different character, and then there's also Vanitas, who is Roxas's nobody or something, and then there's the other one that's like an evil Sora. There's a lot, but I don't know.
I remember playing through Kingdom Hearts and then going to Kingdom Hearts University on YouTube to just understand some of the things.
Yeah, it's a lot, but I guess I'm just used to it. Like it's. Right. There's a lot of parts of it that you can basically ignore, like the story of every individual world you can basically just throw out, because it's like, oh well, this is just the story of the movie, but also now there's like a guy in a black trench coat here. There's a very loud airplane.
Yeah, it's pretty loud. So you know what's funny?
Very loud.
You're talking about, we were mentioning, I think it was John, you mentioned Destiny in the last shape. Why did I get a PlayStation notification popping up on my phone from PlayStation Store showing Destiny 2 the final shape, journey into the pale heart of the traveler? Yeah, they're listening.
They're always
to us.
Listening. Of course, yeah. Jim Ryan listens now since he's retired. He listens to all the shows.
Hiroki's money, man.
Yeah, he transitioned to communications. He's listening to all of us. Yeah. Oh, it also doesn't hurt that I have Stellar Blade playing, so that's probably what it is. Yeah.
Now they know you're horny. Yeah. I've been on top of that, so I've also been reading some comic books because I've been getting back into that. So I read two really good ones. I read an Aquaman book that I don't usually care about Aquaman like at all.
Yeah.
And I don't think most people do, but the art in it was done by my favorite comic book artist, Stephen Sage, and he did the Harleen comic, the like origin of Harley Quinn. He's phenomenal. He's really, really good. Mm-hmm. And it's Aquaman Underworld, and it's just a run of like 5 volumes that are in the regular Aquaman Rebirth story arc, and those 5 issues are phenomenal. Like they set up some really great situations with like what a crime lord in Atlantis looks like and all this really cool stuff, and of course his art's phenomenal because it always is. It's super good. And then I went and I wanted to read like the stuff from before in the story so I could figure out maybe a little bit of what was going on beforehand, and I continued a little bit afterwards, and it really is like every other part of that story feels like it's just so much lower than the part that Steppen worked on.
I think that the coolest Daniel, do you agree that the coolest, like one of the coolest things ever on Aquaman is in that new 52, when in that centerfold where he's just with the trident and then there's that shark jumping.
With the sharks.
Yeah.
There's actually, if you read, there's something in specifically Aquaman Underworld that I think might be cooler. But yes, that's a very cool thing. That
it has been a long time.
I think
since I've read any Aquaman book. Should I say?
I mean, honestly, there's not a lot of good ones.
No, everything's trash. I mean, unfortunately, it's just the way it is.
Yeah, I mean, the majority of comics that come out are just not great in general. I would
not
say
up to snuff
And then
anymore, huh?
Yeah, and then on top of that, I feel like the people who are the most talented probably aren't the most excited to go and write an Aquaman story. So this was a weird crossover of like this character who people don't generally care about being written by somebody who's really, really good all of a sudden, and it just really elevated it. And the bit that he wrote was also the beginning of a new story arc within Rebirth, so he was able to really like take control of it. And it's really funny actually, because if you at like episode, because it was 25 to 30 was the issues that he did, and then at issue like 31 it switches to a new artist, and you can tell immediately that new artist is really struggling to like draw the characters that he invented. And they're like, how do I draw this like weird crab monster guy? Like, I don't know what to do here. He's just gonna I'll kill him, he'll just be dead now.
How do I reach these keys?
Yeah, like it's
Yeah,
nuts.
after you go from 60 FPS back to 30, it's kind of hard,
It's honestly it's even more of a drop off than that. Like it's dramatic.
Yeah.
And then the other one I read just today, actually, it's called I Kill Giants. It's an older comic book.
Yeah, it's classic.
It's like a 7-volume short, like almost a short story.
They have a movie about it, right? I think, or
it is the movie.
Yeah.
I haven't seen. I watched
Yeah,
the
there was a
trailer of
movie
it
on that.
today, and the movie looks like it's probably terrible, which is fine because I didn't watch it. I just read the comic, and the comic is very, very good. So the premise of it, and I'll just spoil it because it's a very old comic, and honestly, I don't think knowing what the twist is ruins it at all. I think the story really stands on its own. So what it is there's this girl, Barbara, and she is like a D&D nerd, right? So she wears like these bunny ears, and she goes to school. She's in like, I think 6th grade, and she is, she's an outcast. She's a loser. She doesn't get along with people. She gets in a lot of fights. She's constantly talking about, as if it's real, that she's fighting giants, that she's going out and setting traps for giants, and she's hunting them and finding them, which may be a spin on the fact that she is also a dungeon master. So she's I think bringing a little bit of that creativity to the real world and living it like that. And so everyone sort of bullies her because of that, because she's sort of a weird kid. And then you find out that the reason that she's doing that is because her mother is dying of cancer, and so she won't go upstairs to her room, and so the whole comic is painted and drawn in the guise of like her perspective. It's like it's drawn in the way that a kid would draw while they were in like therapy, right? So it's a very childish, like kind of sketchy, not great art style.
Yeah.
But she'll be like looking up the stairs, and there'll be this just black mass and just like monsters in the darkness up there, and so she won't go upstairs because that's where her mom is. Her mom's laid out in a bed up there, and she doesn't want to go up there. And
I'm starting to put 2 and 2 together already, but I've always known about it. I just never read it.
Yeah, and so there's a bit where she's talking to the therapist at her school, who in the movie is actually played by Zoe Saldana, which I think is pretty cool. And the teachers, or the therapist, has like figured everything out. She understands like what's going on and why she's doing this. And she's like explaining it to Barbara. She's like, this isn't a giant that you can fight. Like you are taking this thing that you don't know how to deal with, and you don't know how to fight against, and you are trying to create new monsters and new enemies because you know that you have to fight, you know that you need to fight, but you don't have the tools or the means or the capability to fight the thing that you are actually upset about. So you are creating monsters out of the darkness to have something to feel like you can strive against. And it is an incredibly powerful story. It is so good. I read it, and then I showed it to one of my coworkers, and he was reading it in the break room, and he comes out and he's like in tears, and I'm like, yeah. Like,
how fast does he read? Did he get through it?
Yeah,
Fast?
well, it's only 7 volumes, so you can finish it really fast. Or 7 issues, I should say.
I was gonna say 7 volumes. He got through that in a break.
Yeah.
You all have generous breaks.
It's like 30 minutes, 45 sometimes.
Okay.
It's absolutely phenomenal. Highly recommend it. The movie probably sucks.
Well, looking at
I
the
haven't seen the movie.
IMDb,
The movie
it-
seems like it probably
they have
sucks.
it at what you call it, the I guess the reviews is about a 6.1 out of 10, but the IMDb
that's
as
not
far
good.
as fan reviews is about a 7 like point something. So
I saw I was watching the trailer while you were talking, and I saw the bunny ears. I'm like, I checked out. I'm like, nah.
Yeah, the movie. I watched the trailer for the movie and it looks awful. Like it does not hold up to what it is at all. And also the movie makes it look like it's like an action story, and it's very much not. It is a character drama about this kid trying to figure out how to handle a situation that there's no way to handle.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll look
And
into
it's just
that
not
more
like that.
as far as that, because I've always wanted to read it. I just never really got around to it. But I do want to add that to
It's
the
a
list
super
of
fast
things.
read.
Yeah.
And the guy who wrote it, I looked it up after the fact. The guy who wrote it, unsurprisingly, his mother was suffering from cancer while he was writing it, and she actually passed like it was like 2 days before the first issue came out.
Oh
Wow.
Wow.
That's sad. Yeah. Yeah, well, we gotta add that to the bucket list of, not bucket list, but to add it to the list of games, or excuse me, stories to read. I have always known about it for years. I just never got a chance to. I didn't prioritize it, I suppose. So I definitely will move that up to know fully what's going on here. And for those in the audience, yeah, give it a read, give it a check out, check that out.
It's super fast.
Yeah, it's not too much of your time investment, and it sounds like it's a really solid emotional story. Emotional story.
You will take emotional damage. I promise.
Yeah.
If
I
you don't,
believe
you're
it.
dead inside, and that's on you.
When you started saying certain things, I already picked up where it was going. So I'm like, yeah, I see it. But, yeah.
because there's parts in it even where she's talking to people, and because she's in such like complete denial about the situation, people will say things where it'll be like, we need to talk about your mother, but your mother will be like blacked out, and you can kind of read the text through it, but like her brain is just refusing to acknowledge the situation so much to the point that like it's not even appearing in the text bubble.
I see.
It's
All
really
right.
smartly written.
Sounds interesting. What else though? Is that just been the reading and
That's
the binkies for
Binkies and Kingdom Hearts. Yeah, that's
for
all
Kingdom
I've been
Hearts?
up to.
Okay.
Umbra,
Yeah.
can I just say that I saw, like, while Danny was going through the story, I saw like an ad for what I think is the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life.
What's that?
Power slap. Have you guys seen this?
Power.
That-
Oh, I think I've
Never heard
seen
of
that.
This is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Why would you just stand there and let someone just slap you in the face full force wherein you can't even
Yeah.
defend
Oh.
I know what you're
yourself?
talking about.
Have you
We've
not
all
seen this
seen
thing
it.
before? The like Russian slap
That's a
fighting
competition.
competitions.
Yeah.
That's a competition.
Dude, keep it in Russia, man. Like,
There was one of the Paul brothers like got really into it for a minute, and then he chickened out before his first match.
Of
I
course he
forget
did.
which one. Probably Logan.
I'll be one of the
I
people
mean-
to slap first, and then when it's their turn, I'm like, I quit.
yeah.
They'll be
You
mad
win.
at me.
Check
I
this
win.
out.
All right. You win, I win. We both win because I'm not getting
Look,
slapped
everyone
back.
here got what we wanted.
Exactly. But no, the way these guys are slapping the hell out of each other, yeah, I wouldn't do that. It looks like brain damage right there. And they're knocking the hell out of each other too. Concussions and all. But yeah, not my
Yeah.
thing.
And
But I know about it,
the
yeah.
Money
We've
must
all
be
seen
good
it.
if they doing all that.
That's what I was thinking. It must be a good payout, I guess.
Right.
But yeah, so yeah, let's
Thanks.
I know, right? Let's move it to the news roundup. And we have, I think we're a bit over time as far as things go. So we want to try to shift through this. We might have to.
Yeah, there's not a
Yeah.
lot of big ones in here, so I think we'll go pretty fast.
Okay.
Guess just try to keep your comments down to a couple
Yeah.
minutes.
Yeah,
Do
exactly.
one or two sentences, please.
That's
One or
it.
two sentences. Let's go.
Wrap it up. Wrap it up. Yeah.
Stutter
Sweet baby.
yams.
Got.
Stutter
Sweet
yams
baby.
is nice. That's it.
The first
Sweet
one I got
baby ink.
is
That's it.
is super self-serving. It's just for me. It's called the Persona I Was Right. So there's a thing that's been going around that said crazy fan theory proved true by Persona key art or whatever, and I think the crazy fan theory was me and probably a bunch of other people. But I've been saying this since the day Persona 5 was rumored to come to Xbox. I have been saying Persona 6 is going to be green. And it's going to be the first one to launch day one on Xbox. And lo and behold, here we are. They put out a key art where it's very clear that they've, it doesn't sound like much, but there's like a green paint can to the right of where all the protagonists are standing. And so if you read it like a timeline, that green paint can would be where 6 is. And we know it's going to be launching on 6, or it's going to be launching on Xbox Day and Date. So I just want to say I was right, and I said that like 2 years ago or something.
Nice. There you
So
go.
there you go, baby. I'm really excited for Persona 6. I think it's going to be phenomenal because they usually are.
Yeah, well, I'm glad that Microsoft finally got them all on board to play to Xbox. It's funny though. I always found it weird that Sega was all aboard, but not Persona. Seemed really odd.
Yeah.
It was. I think what was weird is that no one can ever in the industry tell if there was a contract. Like a lot of the deals that Sony had in the past.
Yeah.
They never understood why Yakuza or even Persona was coming over, and it was just. I think it was a relationship with working with Atlas, because even though Atlas kind of still calls their own shots in a way.
A little bit, yeah.
So it's
and
good to
usually
see.
calls really weird shots, and not even just because they had made their games exclusive to PlayStation. It's in the way of like, oh man, like when they put out 5, the streaming guidelines for it were extremely strict to the point where you couldn't play past a certain date on stream, or they would shut your stream down. There was things like the fact that like 3 and 4 are some of the most popular games they've ever put out, Persona 3 and 4. But they never moved any of them forward, and now they're finally doing that. For some reason, they started with SMT 3 Nocturne. Like they moved that onto Switch first and tested the water with that, and everyone was like, "Hey, guess what? We really like your games because they're good. You just need to release them places where we can buy them."
I mean, Shinji Megami Tensei, which is basically the OG Persona.
Yeah, Persona's
it's always been it's always been on Nintendo platforms. So, and Persona was the spin-off that sort of went to PlayStation. So it's just some weird stuff there that, and when you look at the sales too, I wonder, it was like, you look at, oh, hey, we didn't sell as much as we wanted, but you're only on one platform.
Yeah. The best thing that they could do for me now that all of the Personas that really matter, I mean, 1 and 2, I would love to have come to modern consoles or be remade in some way, like how they just did 3. That'd be really cool. But what I want more than that is if they could do the Raido Kusunoha games, the 2, I think the Devil Summoner ones. If they could bring those really 2 good games, like remake those, that would be amazing. And I think they do really well in a modern context. I think
I thought I heard that they might be bringing Megami Tensei 4, and there might be a remaster, but I'm not sure which. Remember, there was 2 versions of, kind of like with 3, a part 2.
Yeah.
There was like Sin Punishment, and the other one was Eternal. So I wonder which one they'll bring. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I don't know. I hope that they do more remakes and stuff. We're kind of in an era of remakes right now, and these are some of the ones that actually really need to be remade.
This is the only thing I'll add to this conversation. Maybe all of you can agree, or maybe not, or maybe you guys can educate me on this. Can we universally say that Sarah Bond worked on this partnership, and that's why we have all this good stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if she was the only one, but she definitely did a lot of the work.
Yeah. I think so.
We can give us some credit. I mean, I don't know how much we can give credit to it, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, on that same context, Sarah Bond, in an internal email recently, was talking about how seriously they're taking next gen. They're really making a lot of steps into fast tracking the next generation for them. And one of the exciting things that they said as a part of that, that's relevant to this conversation, is she said, quote, "We formed a new team dedicated to game preservation, important to all of us at Xbox and the industry itself. We are building on our strong history of delivering backwards compatibility to our players, and we remain committed to bringing forward the amazing library of Xbox games for future generations of players to enjoy." So literally this is her entire MO right now, is that she wants Xbox to be like the place that the entire back catalog of games that people want to be interested in playing are on.
At least for consoles, for sure.
At least for consoles, yeah. If she can get, even if she can just get like the original Xbox games on there, I'd be happy. But it seems like, I mean, exactly like we were just saying, it seems like she's going beyond that in getting other older games that were never on Xbox ported over. Like she's gotten these Persona games, she's gotten the Yakuza games, like all kinds of stuff. And maybe it wasn't just her, but it was at least her team who have been making all these great steps to do this, and I think it's phenomenal work, and I hope that she sticks to it for many years.
I could be wrong, but me and Kay were discussing this on one of our shows a couple of weeks back. What it sounds like to me, or just we had this conversation not too long ago actually. What it sounds like to me is that they're figuring out a way for whatever the future of Xbox is, that's whether it's an OS or devices and stuff. It sounds like to me like they're figuring out a way that your library is going to be with you depending on if you want to stay on their console, if you're on PC, whatever the case may be. So think of it kind of like the way that they kind of did magic with making 360 and OG Xbox games playable on your Xbox One. That at the time that was unheard of. Imagine if they can do something like that with console games on your PC. I think that would be pretty cool. I think that'll be a big moment.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Either way, she's doing some phenomenal work, and I'm very happy with everything she's been doing. I love that on top of, because it's not just these games are now playable on modern consoles, it's also like we're taking steps to make sure that they run as well as they should, and that like they're getting FPS boost and all these resolution boosts and stuff like that. And that's not across the board, but the vast majority of games get some kind of benefit from the backwards compatibility. And so that team is doing some really, really good work.
Microsoft deserves more credit as far as games preservation.
They're really the
else.
only publisher doing it.
Yep.
Like PlayStation is only just now starting to even care at all about having the most recent generation of video games playable on the new one. And then Nintendo, like the next Switch that comes out, I genuinely do not feel confident that the games that I own currently will be playable on it. It's like 50-50 to me. I'm hoping that they will see the writing on the wall and see that it's very important to people these days.
But backwards compatible.
Yeah, but who's to say for sure?
They might
I think
add it behind a paywall.
I don't think they can afford another Wii U situation. And I think when both the other two platforms are doing this, you can't get away with that. I can see a world where they may charge you an extra $10 for to update on the Switch 2 so you can play like Tears of the Kingdom or something like that. But I think they need to respect your back catalog. I mean, one of the key things that people forget about the Xbox Series console was that kind of like what happens with a PC, right? When you have a PC, when you upgrade your hardware, you unlock all the stuff that's cool about your games because you have better hardware. And that's where they wanted to do with the series. And I'm thinking that's kind of what they want to continue. So you as a console gamer where you were playing, you're just going to update your hardware, meaning you're purchasing whatever device you're going to play on. And now it unlocks a lot of the perks and your previous library, which is, again, convenience of what happens on PC for years.
Well, no, but it does actually even go beyond what happens on PC, because they are actually putting in specific patches to like get the boost, to get like an FPS boost going and doing all this stuff. So they are doing extra work other than just like putting it on stronger hardware.
Oh yeah,
but
for
yes,
sure.
You're right, 100%.
There definitely is more work, especially when it's a console. But yes,
I think at the most that Nintendo will give, and I'm being generous here, is they'll respect your digital purchases, but I'm not 100% convinced that your physical media is going to work on the new Switch. I don't know why. I don't think that's going to be a thing.
I think that would be terrible because you're punishing your physical purchasers. You can't do that. You can't alienate your fan base like that. I mean, I've said it before, and I think I said it. If Nintendo goes that route, I don't know if I switch over to Switch 2 because at some point I'm tired of buying Mario for the 15th time.
Yeah,
at some point, huh? How many times have you bought Mario? Is what I would like to ask you.
I mean,
he'll tap out.
Question. I mean, look,
I don't have a problem.
prior to the Xbox One generation and then the Series console, we were always on the same cycle of having to use our previous hardware to access our games, right? If we were as console players. So I see now that you cannot launch this no matter how much goodwill or nostalgia you have. You have to respect the purchases of the people that have invested in this platform, and I think a lot of the players have changed in the way they are going to let Nintendo get away with something like that.
I would hope so.
I think you're giving Nintendo a little bit too much leeway, and historically they're cutthroat, so I don't know.
Well, but the fans too is the problem for me. The fans typically just let them get away with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Nintendo is capable of getting away with a lot of things that nobody else could possibly get away with, and it's because they have that ingrained, just like literally generations worth of people having nostalgia for their games, which is also how they get away with not really changing their games ever dramatically. And I know probably some Nintendo people will be like, no, in this one you can play with sticks and rocks, and then the other one you can and it's like, all right, dude. But they're like really not that.
Listen,
different.
listen. When they
And
they
you were
make
saying
you
we wouldn't talk mess about the Switch.
when they listen, when I saw that they were charging you for cardboard, I was convinced that there's no way that they're letting you play
They
physical.
did abandon that pretty fast.
But I
though, so it
mean,
must not have
John,
been well
didn't you pay for like, you know, paperweight, which is, you know, the portal?
I mean, I was using the portal today, but
what's the difference if you paying for? You might as well have paid for cardboard that at least is useful. But on the Nintendo side of things, I think they've always innovated. Yes, they stick to a formula sometimes, but I think, you know, and again, I might come, you know, the Pokemon people are gonna come after me, but as a person who's been trying for years to get into Pokemon, there hasn't been a game that has captured me. In the sense of like, I just look at the games and like they're very generic to me, and maybe it's
Power World. It's called Power World.
No.
But Power World got me because you added some guns and then you went out there in survival, and then I was like, let's go. And I was making Nike sneakers, man. Let's go. Living my dreams.
Excuse me, Umbra, but disrespectfully, fuck Pokemon.
Yeah, the last like 4 or 5 Pokemon games have been really bad.
But I gotta catch them all.
And I'm saying that as a Pokemon fan.
Pokemon
The last
hasn't
games
been
have
at
been.
their height.
You got to buy like 2 of them to catch them all. That's how they get you.
Yeah, or your friend
So
doesn't get one.
like, here, play the same game, and then 80 hours in, here's the Pokemon on that cover.
Look, I
That's how they get you.
respect the hustle of Nintendo and their formula works and it's successful for them. But the only thing is that I can just imagine, because it's just historically this is who they are. I can imagine the Switch 2 not launching with a charger. I can imagine that the whatever little card reader thing is gonna be like a little cartridge that looks like a little cartridge that's maybe wider or whatever the case may be, and they're gonna be like, nope, sorry, you can't use your old Switch games because we had. I mean, they're just capable of doing it. It's Nintendo.
Hey, John, I mean,
They would
a
definitely
suit told you had an SD card and that doesn't work. So what's the difference?
I mean, listen, if you
What? I mean, I'm asking you.
All I'm saying is that listen, at least ASUS gave you a charger in the box. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I think they'll give you a charger. What you're referring to kind of give context is that they try to be slick, saying that since we've sold you multiple 3DSs at this point, you probably have a charger somewhere.
But again, this is the company that you're dealing with. That's why, like, I wouldn't put it past Nintendo. And listen, there's no denying the greatness, but at the same time, this is who they are. Like, they are capable of doing something like this.
Well, yeah. Listen, I want to, before we go too far, I do want to give a shout out to the chat because I never did acknowledge you guys. Acknowledge me.
Oh, there's people here?
There are.
I thought it was just up. I thought it was
They've
just
heard
us.
She
you.
left after you know, they slandered the wrong ally. You kicked them out.
Yeah.
No, I thought we were just having a party chat here. My bad. I didn't know we were live.
The chat is welcome to. No, you're not. Yeah, never mind. I was gonna say you all are welcome.
So
to swing.
UE5's on the table too?
No, both are off the table. If you all do it, you're being banned. I have spoken.
I guess this is the part you say this is sponsored by Tim Sweeney.
So I want to read the super chat and also give a shout out to my Chicago brother Adidas 20. He sends a generous $5 super chat. He says, "I am here." Ha ha ha. I figured that the laugh had to come after it after reading my hero. Eternal Shaddai. Shout out, brother.
What's up?
What's up? And it's Timmy V2 Jr. What's up, brother? Gray, of course. Thanks for holding down the chat as mod, brother. We had the Teasy, I think is, I don't know if he's still here, but shout out to Teasy. And we had that blue number show up as well, if you all didn't know.
But she bounced because she said Stellar Blade was on the screen. So
yeah. She got insecure, saw the yams, and was like, enough.
Oh, I don't know about that. I don't know about her getting insecure, but she's like, I gotta go. I'm gonna get on a party chat with Paris and the kind of funny guys.
I mean, but what else would you run for from the yams? Don't run from the yams, accept them.
No, run to the yams. Come
exactly, on. Run to the yams, not away.
Embrace the yam.
Embrace them.
Yo,
I'm going to embrace them. What's up?
Let me just say this right quick. When it comes to Nintendo and Pokemon, hasn't been at their peak. The last time they was at their peak was Pokemon Black 1 and 2. When it comes to the gameplay, story mode, and the difficulty of it. After that, they fell off.
Well, I
The
can tell
last
you right
time-
now, I haven't played
That's probably true.
Pokemon since
Pokemon
what was it?
Black,
Black
1 2 is
and
the GOAT, bro.
Red,
It's
and what was the
GOAT.
other one? I haven't
The
played
one-
Pokemon.
the
Yeah.
last one I played was the one on the Game Boy Color, man. That's how.
That's
how-
me too.
It's
That's how long it's been for me exactly.
Pokemon Black and
I think it was
White,
Red and Blue. Was it? Danny?
Yeah, red and blue.
Yeah, that was the last one I played.
Unless you were in
You know what?
Japan.
Arceus is pretty good, and
right.
RCS, well, okay. RCS could have been really good, but they just didn't put any
Get rid of
effort
that
into
quick.
it, and so the whole thing ran at like 2 frames
I mean,
a second.
I
It
mean,
was
I think it's about
it
time
was a
that
really
they
good
put-
idea, though.
Not on
They
Yuzu.
should- They should put this developer on the hot seat and
Game
give
Freak.
them time too.
Oh, Game
Mm.
Informer, or not Game Informer, Game Freak.
Yeah,
don't
Game
know.
Freak.
Yeah,
I don't know if I gave him a
help.
shout out to Erican. Shout out to
Dramatic
Erican
help.
again, and to Inked El Chapo. El Chapo, I'll actually be appearing on his podcast with him and a few of his podcasting buddies. I think.
Oh,
next-
nice.
Is it this week? It's this
Ooh.
week, I believe. Yeah,
The real El Chapo.
the real Inked El Chapo, at least. Yes,
Nice.
and
You know,
shout out to
I-
him and to Abdel, the Starlight Terra. Shout out to both of you guys. Thank you both all for being here. What were we gonna say?
I was gonna say that I'm lying. I did play one other Pokemon game since then. It's the one that came out for the Wii U, the one that they were in a stadium. I did play that game.
Oh, what, the fighting game? Pokemon?
The
Tournament?
fighting game. Yeah. Yep. I
Yeah.
did play that, but that doesn't really count, right?
I mean, it can. It's a Pokemon game. It's not like a mainline one, but I mean, you can count it. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna be mad at you for it.
I like the Pokemon fighting game. That one was pretty good.
Oh, Pokken?
Yeah,
That's
Pokken
my
was okay. Apparently,
shit,
Pokemon
bro.
Unite's pretty good too. That's the MOBA one, but I just don't give it.
Hey, look great. Look
I got
what Gray
to-
wrote in the chat.
I just got to an age that I was trying to
Pokemon
catch
did
other
you post
Pokemon.
on
You know what I'm
her?
saying?
Wow.
It's just nah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Diddy.
shout out to Siki too, who in the chat. Yeah. Say, listen. So we are a good hour in already, so we definitely have to
Gotta go.
shift. Yeah, we have to shift ahead.
1 to 2 sentences, right, guys?
Let's go.
Mhm.
So speaking of Japanese games, Square Enix had some really big shakeups. The Dragon Quest producer, who had been there for like multiple decades, Yu Miyake, is moving over to the smartphone division of all things. The new president, who was put in place a little while ago, wants to focus less on outsourcing their games, which I didn't realize they were doing, but is probably why so many of them were bad, and focus more on internal studios, making them actual in studios instead of just what do we call them, like they were like dream teams or something. I don't know. They had some dumb name for them, and now they're going to make them actual proper studios. They want to streamline all their pipelines to get games out faster and better, which makes sense because Rebirth took 100 years. And the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth director Naoki Hamaguchi was promoted to the executive staff. They're planning on making more sweeping announcements about their strategy in May, so we should hear about that sooner rather than later. But yeah, Square Enix is realizing that their business was not doing well and making very big changes, although I don't know necessarily that I agree with the idea of making the producer of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth an executive, because all of my Final Fantasy friends who I have talked to about that game hate it, and then all of the people who I've talked to who have played it who are not Final Fantasy people really liked it, and so I don't know what that disconnect is. I haven't played it myself, but that's
What's it,
just an
Yuya
observation
Nomura?
I've made. It was Hamaguchi.
Okay.
It was Naoki Hamaguchi. He was the director of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Oh, I saw a bit about that. I feel like I know it's been some discourse where people didn't like it and some do. It is what it is. It's always going to be that way. But I think
Homestar is awesome.
I think though with the traditional style of, I think more traditionalists wanted to go back to the turn-based style it was before. Wow,
Yeah.
this new hybrid style. What do they call it? The system.
Well, they call it the ATP or ATB style
ATB,
or
yeah.
system, but that existed in the turn-based system. It just worked different.
Okay, I
but
see.
it's like a cross between turn-based and full action.
I mean,
Yes.
if Sega can do it with so many personas already, I think they can find a battle system that can work and give you a traditional Final Fantasy
Yeah,
game.
for sure they could do that. I think that they've made it pretty clear that they're moving away from turn-based at this point. Because maybe
I
Dragon
think
Quest
so.
will stay that way, but I think the last at least 4, maybe 5 Final Fantasies have been strictly action. So
Yeah.
I
I
don't
think
see them
so.
going back.
Yeah. Yeah. What else do we have?
The Fallout 4 next gen update is slated for April 25th. It comes with a performance mode and a quality mode. That
Very
includes a
nice.
60 FPS mode and increased resolution for those 2 different modes. They've also put in a bunch of stability improvements and bug fixes. Although I did run into bugs, I don't remember having like sweeping stability problems, but I guess that was something that they felt that they needed to fix.
Helldiver
then
type
they've
bugs
also-
or
What? Huh? And
Just joking.
they're also adding a bunch of additional content that is like a handful of like hand chosen things, I think, from the Creation Club. But the biggest thing that they seem to be adding from that is an Enclave Remnants class quest line. So they're adding basically another faction into the game, which is really interesting.
The fascist line. Yay.
Pretty much.
I'm just gonna have a fast comment on this, and we don't need to dive deep into it. But I thought that this game already got an FPS boost, but I mean, okay.
No, it got an FPS boost, but it got an FPS boost, but this is the current gen update.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, this is like an upgrade on top of what they already got, because it wasn't the boost that it got before wasn't like a big massive thing. It was basically just it's running on better hardware, so we're gonna make sure that when it does run on that better hardware, it doesn't crash.
Yeah.
Understood. So in other words, it's like optimized for Series S and X. Gotcha.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And on top of that, adding a couple features
PC.
that people really wanted, but yeah,
Pretty good.
It's effectively a very big patch, and it's also free, so
Yeah.
we'll take it.
Hey,
Of course.
can't beat free. And I'm
Yeah.
definitely going to try it out on PC to see how I can, mod it and all that with things I never could do on a
I
console
mean, on
before.
PC, you basically would have already had most of those things, so
Umbra.
you could have done it at any time. But yes,
Oh yeah, well, not me because I never had one to play.
Well, no,
like
PC.
the one I had, but yeah, my PC wouldn't be able to do anything. But now it can. Now I'm
Umbra, man,
There you
since
go.
last week you've been
There you
giving
go.
that Series X a
Yeah.
side eye, man.
His computer used to
plugging
take
in
2 days
the-
to reply on Twitter.
Oh,
Plugging in that
man.
Matrix jack in the back of his head.
Listen, for the last week and a
I'm
half,
plugged
Umbra's been
in.
looking at that Series X like, should I unplug this thing or what?
This guy.
Yo,
Don't worry, they'll make him upgrade to Windows 12 eventually, and he'll hate the whole thing. The whole process will turn him off. Don't worry
Oh
about it.
man.
He's
Well,
in the
by that-
honeymoon phase right now.
By that point, we'll have the Elon Musk chips in our brain, and I'll be able to operate it easily. So
I ain't putting anything from
Yeah.
Elon in my brain.
no thanks.
No Diddy.
we all get turned to fascists. No, seriously.
Only a matter of time.
Yeah. What else do we have? And
Hey, Foam Stars is dead. So
Yeah,
Foam
it's-
Stars. Foam
I
Stars
thought that was
launched
dead long
apparently-
ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it turns out
Have
it's
a
for real
moment of
dead
silence
now.
for this.
It so apparently when it launched, it actually had more players in its first week than Helldivers did. That's a big fact that like everyone keeps throwing around right now. But since then, it has lost a full 95% of its players.
Were
on the
they
PlayStation
were there
platform.
bots
Look.
that were on there?
I have
Listen,
no idea.
no disrespect to anybody that enjoys this game. What grown man is out there playing this game? I just need to know. Like, I mean,
People out there
Grown
playing
man.
Splatoon is basically.
I'm gonna
Hey.
foam you up.
Don't do that.
I
I'm
mean,
gonna-
The same grown man who's
Bro,
playing the Nintendo. version.
Besides-
Don't do
besides
that.
Diddy-
I heard the
besides
skin
Diddy,
was-
who else
was
is
supposed
on
to
here?
come. Diddy skin was supposed to come.
I'm about to suds you up.
oh
Oof.
man.
Foam.
Bro, mute your mic, dog.
Here's some Ciroc.
I put some bubbles
comes
on
out-
you.
Diddy comes out with that with that Godzilla song, din it, shooting foam everywhere. Oh man.
Diddy
Unacceptable.
stars.
I shot some foam on you. Now you
Oh,
stay
man.
down. Stay down right there under my
That,
foam.
that game's gonna die a painful death, and
Why are you talking like Mike Tyson?
I can't do it, coach. This is ridiculous.
I'll eat your
Go on,
children.
man.
I'll eat your children.
Listen, it's stupendous on how Foam Stars has tremendously failed the way it has, okay? So the problem is Square Enix was foolish enough to keep it to one platform. I don't know what they were thinking.
I was just gonna say
Yeah,
that
it's just
too.
not a good idea to make huge multiplayer games like that exclusive to one platform unless
I
it's
mean,
going to be
this-
something massive. Like
This
you can
lasted
get away
longer
with
than
it.
Babylon's Fall.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
that is
mean-
true.
You can get away with it if it's going to be like one of your big tentpole games, like a Halo, a Gears, even a Splatoon is doing really well over on Nintendo. But if it's going to be some like little throwaway game that people already aren't super excited for, it's going to die a death immediately.
It
on a
just
big platform.
launched.
It's just not
It
gonna work
launched
out.
on the wrong platform. I think that just screams Nintendo.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nintendo
I-
would be like, get that out of here.
Well,
yeah.
but the other thing is
Right.
like because I remember we were all clowning on it from like the second it was announced because it looked pretty stupid. And
Horrible.
the previews started coming in and they were like, the game's actually pretty okay. Like they
Yeah,
weren't
sure.
like
Mhm.
massive glowing game things, but they were like, this is an okay game. People will probably enjoy it well enough. And I never heard about it between when it came out and now. So
Dude, it came
it
out,
just-
and then that night I forgot what came out, and it was lost in the wind.
yeah, it just
Nobody
it
ever
just
talked
never
about it
picked
again.
up.
I think
Like-
I saw one PS Portal person hyping the Portal with that game, and I was like, yeah.
What a weird game to choose to.
I'd rather spend 4 minutes going through the car wash than play that game. I'll put it to you like that.
Well, it's a lot cheaper too.
Yeah. Phone
Uh,
I'm gonna stay with Splatoon.
Yeah. In other news, Dead Space 2 had a remake that was apparently being made. This is a rumor, so we can't 100% confirm it, but I'm pretty confident that it's coming from sources that I trust. Had a remake that they were making in the same style as the Dead Space remake that came out. Was that last year? It's all a blur. I'm pretty sure it's last year.
Yeah, it was last year.
And it has been completely canned so that they could redirect those developers onto more Battlefield games. baby.
Yay.
EA has denied that rumor. They're like, this is not true, but
You had Jason
all of the
Schreier.
Jeff Grubbs and all them. Yeah,
Yeah,
Jeff
they
Grubb
are-
and Jason Schreier and all them
exactly.
were like, actually, it was true. So
Oh,
I
so
don't
it
know.
is true. It is true after all.
I'm pretty confident. Yeah,
That's a
'Cause
shame.
like
That's a
EA
shame.
wouldn't come out and be like, no, that game you wanted, we killed it. Like they would never say that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a shame, but you know what though? Like seriously speaking, Dead Space 2 and 3, more 2, not 3 necessarily. It still holds up very well.
Yeah, 2
So,
was good.
Yeah, so it kind of stinks that it looks like they're not gonna work on it, but Dead Space 2 still holds up well, man. Umbra, fire that up on your new PC. You're gonna remember what I'm saying. You're gonna be like,
Oh,
man,
hey.
this plays
Well,
great.
was
You
it
said
the
nothing but
I
a
mean,
word.
the remake kind of taking elements and kind of combining the story?
Yeah,
So,
they took elements from 2 and I think even 3 and peppered them into the first remake. Which it makes sense because probably when they made the first game, they weren't expecting it to take off the way it did and become a trilogy. So they were able to sort of really expand on that story and honestly added a lot of dialogue and lore to it.
I
so-
wonder if
Okay.
we would ever get a sequel, if it would be more reminiscent of them sort of fixing 3.
Probably, I would think
Yeah.
so.
And
Dark.
maybe that was the difference in the sense of like, hey, when we did 1 and 2, you know, we already had that. It was in the Ushimura. Let's just add a couple of elements. Let's fix a lot of the things that made that game great and just expand on it. And then if you were going to go for a second one other, you sort of take in both and combine them. You're sort of taking 3 and maybe redoing a new game from like, you know, from scratch.
Yeah, I do think 3 is not as bad as people say, but that still leaves a lot of room for it to be pretty bad. So
Yeah.
there's definitely improvements that they could have made to that series, and it's a shame that they're
You know,
seemingly not trying to do so.
3 feels like, you know, when you get a movie and then years later they say, you know, we want to continue the story of a movie, and you just can feel all the elements that are just like they just put this together. And even though it had good parts, it just feels like there wasn't a lot of like thought into it with some of the things they did.
Batman versus Superman. That's exactly what that was.
Yeah,
Well,
maybe.
I think a good example is I would come to me was Blade Trinity. A movie that I still like, but you sort of feel like, yeah, you know, Wesley Snipes is in here, but it just feels like off.
It was definitely off. And
Yeah.
once you found out later on behind the scenes so many different issues it had, that was pretty obvious. I thought the movie was absolute trash.
Yeah,
Trinity.
it is.
I don't know if I saw Trinity, to be honest with you.
You didn't miss
I
out
mean,
on much.
Deadpool's in it. The only thing he's missing is the costume because he acts exactly like Deadpool in that movie. Ryan Reynolds.
Very true. Very true. I mean, but it's Ryan Reynolds. He's just being himself as Deadpool. That's just the funniest
Yep.
thing about it to me. But no, Blade Trinity was absolutely annoying
bad.
to me because I love part 1 and 2, and it's like, how did they
Remember
go so
that
wrong?
part? Remember that part that Dracula walks into that golf store and then his mouth opens up really wide? Do you remember that?
I try
Did
not
you
to
say
remember
Dracula?
too much.
Yeah, Dracula. That's
So Dracula come rocking in.
yeah, Dracula's in that movie. All right, so check
Hey,
it
that
out.
was probably one of the worst versions of Dracula I've ever seen. Honestly,
It was
my
so
God.
bad.
it was terrible. Anyway, did we have any other news bits? Because
Just a handful more. Yeah, we'll get through it really fast because these ones I don't think we pretty much have anything to say. It was rumored last year and it wasn't true, but that only makes it more likely this year. Hey, Gear 6 is probably going to be at the June showcase this year. Jeff Grubb seems really confident in it. It's been said by like 2-3 dozen people at this point, so I'm feeling pretty confident that is at least an option. Whether or not they end up actually doing it is, I guess, still in the air, but it seems like that's a very high chance, and I'm ready for it. People are saying that it's going to be a real showcase. People while talking about how good Hellblade 2 looks have been like, yeah, but you haven't seen or haven't seen Gear 6 yet, and it's like, but Hellblade already looks like real life. Like, what do you want from me? Like, what do you mean?
I'm going to guess it'll be like the particle effects and things of the nature. Things that Hellblade can't quite give us as far as like the more modern look of technology and things like that, and in bullets and, you know, effects. That's probably what it'll look.
I'm really
60
excited
FPS.
for it.
60 FPS, exactly.
I've always been a person where I actually prefer Gears over Halo. I think it's a more concise story. I think it tells the situation better.
Yeah, I'm with you.
So I am super excited for a Gear 6. I'm
really
excited. They left it on a cliffhanger after 5, and I'm interested to see where they go with that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what they do after 6. Honestly,
they need to finish Kate's story, right? Finish her story.
I'd be fine with that. I do think after 6 they'll probably end up switching to a different franchise for a while, which I'm down with.
You know what they need to do? Like 100%, like whichever choice you made in that game at the end.
Yeah.
And if we're spoiling it, sorry. I mean, it's an older game, but
I mean, just
listen,
leave it at there is a choice at the end.
Listen, and everybody made the same choice. I'm 100%. Okay, so how are they going to carry that over? Because that'll be cool if it detects your save.
It carries
over.
I think you made the different choice, because I personally was not putting that on that person. So You
well, here's my thing, right? You guys remember Wolfenstein 2? Where they sort of did the same thing, and you choose in the beginning which character you want to choose. And then it sort of, slightly alters things. I mean,
you're right. You're right. Yep.
So my thing is, whatever choice I think they made in 5 and whatever they go, I think it allows the coalition to kind of unshackle them a little bit and kind of really take the, go however they want to go with this series and kind of make it their own, which is one of the things that I think they've done a good job of kind of, bringing in a new trilogy. And then all of a sudden, with this kind of, choice that you made, seeing which one they go. I would love for them to just tell me this is canon, this is not. But, it's always exciting to continue. I still want to see the Cole Train. I still want to see Marcus Phoenix, kind of bringing them up. I still hate JD Phoenix.
I like JD.
That's Aloy's brother. That's Aloy's brother.
He's good in 5, but he's pretty rough in 4.
He's rough.
Yeah, he's rough in 4. I agree.
5, give me Del and Kate. I'll be good, man.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that choice at the end, it's definitely a big choice, and I do think that it'll be
they have to own it.
Where
they have to own it.
I think they'll make it so that both are real, but I think that's also why I'm leaning towards 6 being the last one in this series, and then them going off and doing something else for a while. Because I think if they come back to Gears in 10 years or something, I don't think that they'll pick up the story from where they left off. I think that they'll either reboot it depending on where the community is at that point, or just tell a new story in the world in a different place.
I think possibly it'll be tough, because some of those characters are so iconic. Marcus, obviously. Yeah. It's hard to shift away from them. I think that's why so many people didn't care for 4 like they did.
But I mean,
and 5 too, I would say.
The story is rich, and we've only got it from Sarah. What if we get, what if years from now there's a reboot that maybe focuses on the lore or another planet that we weren't aware of, and kind of, I would say I would rather see a conflict between humans to kind of lead up to whatever they want to do with it. I think
the Pendulum Wars. They can just go back to the Pendulum Wars. Yeah,
that would be good. But I'm just saying, I would love that build up where it's kind of like what I liked a little bit about 4. Nobody believed them that some form of locust was back, or what they called them, and they just kept on going. And they're like, you're just making up boogeyman stories and stuff. And then it kind of gives you that. Yeah. So again, you can always reboot. You can always do things.
Reboot for sure, but I wouldn't want them. I feel like the locust and all of that is unique to Planet Sarah. I wouldn't. To me, it would feel odd if we go to Planet Zircon or something, and the locust are there too. It seems.
But what if?
It's the one thing I found weird. It's the one thing I found weird about for instance, Helldivers. It's like, why are the bugs on all these planets? How'd they get over here?
Yeah.
So
Well,
it's the same thing I
might be
have with this.
wrong.
It's like,
Well,
yeah.
remember the story, right? I mean, this is not a spoiler. You play the other Gears. I mean, they were scientists, and we knew the stuff that was happening. You never know if maybe they were trying to experiment and see if they can control them to kind of build an army and kind of a militia and stuff. And there could be many possibilities of how, and maybe there could be a variation.
Who knows?
Meaning they're
I'm
not
sure they'll
exactly.
figure it out.
Yeah.
Whenever they make the decision to figure out what the answer to that question is, they'll come up with
Look,
something.
this is the last thing I'll say, and this is where they have the advantage. That universe, they've created so many good characters that even if they want to like tell the story of Karn and how he grew up in the ranks, or General Ram and all that, they have so many good characters. They can even do the Colonel. They can even do when he was younger.
They could.
Like they have so many cool characters that honestly they can go a lot of ways, and I think it'll be good.
They could. My problem is this: is if you keep relying on these well-known and beloved characters, you can't really move forward, and that's the problem. So many people love Marcus. I love Marcus. It'll be tough for us to not play with them, the Cold Trains and all that. But the problem is, I think Danny kind of hit it on the head. If to me, this would be the best to wrap it up here and just move forward.
Go
you know what I
to
mean?
a different IP for a while,
or
because we've been
to
hearing
move to
rumors
new
that they wanted
characters.
to-
after
yeah,
they
that
come
too.
back. Yeah.
Just because we've been hearing the rumors for a while that they like had a bunch of other projects that they were wanting to work on outside of Gears of War, and so I do feel like that's in the cards still.
I'm all for it.
Because they
All
definitely
for
still
it.
have those plans.
Yeah, because they had those
I mean,
canceled during this whole situation, right? Or at least put on hold.
they were put on hold. I don't think they were ever like hard canceled. Although to be fair, they were never actually announced, so
True,
it's hard to
that's
cancel
true.
something that we don't.
That's not
we don't know
exactly
the
out
actual
there.
fa-
That's true. Oh, we had a few people that commented, by the way. They said Abdel said he knocked off JD. KJ said he did the same. Shout out KJ.
Everybody.
I couldn't do it, man. I was like, I'm not putting that hurt on Marcus, man. He had enough.
Man,
Plus his tomatoes too. I'm like,
Not
oh,
his
that's enough.
tomatoes. Honestly, the tomatoes bigger blow than JD.
Funny.
Damn.
It's rough.
You're
Those were
the-
Dom's tomatoes. Like it was.
You're the
important
first
to him.
person I've ever heard that did not make that choice. But
I couldn't do it,
I mean,
man. I
I
couldn't do
killed
it.
JD. Just like when I play Mass Effect, I always kill Jacob.
Yeah, well,
Jacob.
Jacob. Yeah,
I know.
Jacob bites the bullet every time for me
Jacob.
too. I'm not gonna lie to you. In
Yeah,
Mass
Do you
Effect,
mean Kaiden? Kaiden?
I think he means was it
Yeah,
part
Kaiden.
I
Kaiden
thought
is part 3 or is it?
Well, no, because Kaiden in the first game you have to
Kaiden,
choose
I'm
between
gonna say.
Kaiden and Ashley.
Oh, that's right.
Jacob,
That's right.
I
He's
think,
part 1.
Kaiden.
I think Jacob is the
Kaiden,
black guy
yeah.
from 2.
That's right. That's right. Jacob. That's
Yeah.
right. Okay, you're right.
He reminds me of Jax.
It's Kaiden
And-
for me. You're
and-
right. It's Jacob is the one from part 1 you're talking about, right?
No, Jacob's from 2. Jacob's
Okay, Jacob
he's
is
the
the
Cerberus
brother.
operative who comes in with Miranda.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
that's right. That's right. Okay.
Ashley
Kaiden
No,
or
I didn't-
Kaiden or however
Every
you
time
wanna
he's
say
trying to
it.
move on Miranda, I kill him.
He's safe.
Nah,
Jacob was safe. I had no problem with him. But
Nah,
Kai,
Ashley
between
gotta die every
him,
time. She's racist.
yeah. Listen, I couldn't take her out the equation because I needed to,
Oh nah.
talk
Nah,
with
she
her
gotta
behind
go. I got
behind
Leon.
private quarters for a while. So
I got Leon.
she
I
was
got Leon.
you needed to talk strategy with her. you know what I'm
exactly,
saying?
exactly.
My
And
boy Garrus, man. I remember I had
That-
to start over just because, I killed him by mistake, and I was like, nope, he's not dying.
Killed him by mistake.
how did you
Yeah.
do that?
Garrett, mute you
And one of my
right
choices,
now.
he died, and I was like, nah, I gotta go back. I
That's
was
rough.
like,
Oh,
All right, I'm gonna pull a cog on us. Time.
There you go.
So listen,
Uh,
Steph asks, she says, do you guys think they will make Gears less bloody to hit that team rating to
No,
follow Halo?
no.
Not at
I think
all.
they'll double
Yeah.
down. I think they'll make
Yeah.
it more.
I think they'll make
Ratings
it
are getting
worse.
softer,
Yeah.
and so I think that they'll
maybe they
probably
could
go
have
harder.
foams.
Yeah, maybe they'll add a foam stars
Yeah.
mode
Yeah.
where you can play.
Foam
You'd be
mode.
like, they'll ask you at the top of like when you enter a porn site, they'll be like, "Are you 18?" And you're like,
No. I mean, if they want to consult Sweet Baby, maybe the phone will make it there. But other than that, no.
Listen, it's funny we say this, but they do actually have like mods in game, like for the big head mode and things like that. Maybe they could add actual foams. Funny enough.
Let's not give them any ideas,
know.
guys. Time.
"Could be good, could be good."
Oh, shout out to Cozy. She says, I am wrong. What am I wrong about, Cozy? She says, Cozy, by the way, if you all don't know, is a Mass Effect fan. Yeah, she is. She says, I let Ashley live once, and she's absolutely useless in 3. That's true. She is.
Yeah,
I agree.
They're both honestly kind of useless in 3.
Pretty
they
much.
just don't do much. But I
Abdul
like
said
King
it-
better as a person because he's not a spacist.
Yeah,
So,
that's true too. Abdul said
yeah.
Miranda's white suit is more dangerous than the whole collector's base.
Damn.
That's true.
Damn,
That's true,
I
too.
agree with that.
Kelly Chambers is better. You're right, Cozy.
They
You're
had
so
they had
right,
to nerf it
though.
in the Legendary Edition.
Yeah, Callie was cool.
You're right, and guess what they did? The people in the PC community brought it back.
Nice.
That's
They
right.
nerfed it.
I love it.
Game preservation.
Yes, indeed.
Cheek preservation.
All
Yes.
right.
Cheek preservation.
So in other news, hey, Destiny 3 is being worked on, maybe apparently rumored. Apparently it's been in development since they put out Witch Queen. I don't have a timetable of how long that is because I don't care about Destiny at all.
Me either.
It's codenamed Payback. It's a whole new game.
Yeah, you gotta pay back to Roki Toki.
The rumor on top of it is that it won't have any classes and that you'll be able to switch between them on the fly, which sounds interesting. And I asked my friend Christian. He's the only person I know who still plays Destiny regularly. And because I asked him a while ago, I was like, "Is Final Shape the last one?" Because it says "final" in it. You would think that that's the last thing. And his response was, "The nightmare never ends." So he was like, "It's never over." But he also said Destiny 2 felt like it should have ended before Lightfall, and it's still going. So I don't know. Apparently, it seems like, at least for him, Destiny 2 has really fallen off in terms of like playability. So
I have
I think Destiny 3 is a big pickup.
I have literally zero interest in Destiny. I'm going to be as honest as I can.
Yeah.
I hope that Bungie rebounds with something else. I don't know. Destiny just doesn't do it for me.
Do you have any? Do you have any faith in that new game that they're making? What's
Marathon?
Marathon? I mean, do we have any faith
Not
in
really.
that? Because
No.
I don't, but I think for me personally, I have a better chance of playing that than Destiny 3.
That's true. I will say that too.
Do you think Naughty Dog cancels their game? Cancels Destiny's game?
Yeah, Naughty Dog comes in and they're like, "Hey, actually."
oh man,
What is
that'll
it? They're
be
gonna
some
come in-
sweet revenge, huh?
They're going to come in like the manager off of Office Space. Yeah, if you can just cancel that'd be great.
If you could have Marathon on my desk by tomorrow, that'd
Right.
be great.
That'd be great. What else did we have? Was that about it?
So we got CinemaCon had happened. Actually, it's still happening. So there's a couple really fast things here. I'm literally just gonna sprint through it because I don't think anything is coming out of this that people are gonna want to talk about. They announced that there's a Smile 2. It's that horror movie where the people smile. That movie sucked ass.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
making a second one. They're making
that
a
movie was
remake.
good.
Oh no, I hated that movie. I thought it was terrible.
It was creepy until the end.
I don't do horror movies. No, thank you.
I don't really do horror movies
I
either.
thought the concept was cool, but it
The
was
concept was
at the
okay.
end. At the end, when you get
What
the
movie are
reveal,
you
you're
guys
like,
talking about?
Smile.
Huh?
It's one where there's a demon
Oh,
called
Smile.
Smiley, and he smiles at you.
He's
and
a
then he kills
persona.
you.
Oh.
There's an alternate version where you get a happy ending and then you leave smiling, but other than that, it's
Yeah, I
it's
don't
not
know,
very
man.
good.
Yeah.
Nobody
It's
cares.
a real choice. And they're making a remake of Running Man, of all things. That's happening. They're also doing a reboot of Scary Movie, and there's
Why?
another Bad Boys coming. Bad Boys Ride or Die.
I'm all for that.
Fire.
The
Hey, that
series
trailer
that
looked good.
will never end. It
Hey
just
man, Will
keeps
Smith gotta
going.
make that money after he punched Chris Rock.
Ride or
Bad
Die
Boys.
though. Ride or Die feels like it should have been the last movie's title
Maybe
versus.
it is.
Yeah, the last one was
that
Bad Boys
trailer
for
was-
Life. That would have made more sense for this one, since it's
I
the
agree.
fourth movie and all that. But whatever. But yeah, I'm
The
actually still
second-
excited for that. I got nothing but love for Will and Martin. So
No.
The second
those
one
movies
is
are fun.
still goated to this day. That highway scene in down South
Yeah.
Beach, that was good.
I love
This
part
has
1
got
and
to be
2 a
like,
lot.
what is this, like the 7th Bad Boys movie though? Like, there's a lot of these hoes.
Yeah, it's
You're
about the
because
fourth, I
last
think.
Movie, the last
Yeah.
movie was supposed to be the last one, but they saw how much money they brought in. It was like, yo,
Yeah,
Yeah?
right.
Yeah, people
No,
still rock with him.
actually,
Yeah.
actually, it was Jada that told Will, "You better make now." Just like Jada said, "You're gonna make another one of those movies, right?"
Yeah,
He
well,
said,
You
maybe
gotta
Yes,
die
ma'am.
for me.
Yes, mommy.
Tupac would do it. And he was like, all right.
Oh,
yo.
can you
my
imagine
God,
her?
right
Can you
now.
imagine her telling him like Will's trying to fix something? Yeah, Tupac didn't have a problem doing that.
Right.
That's
This guy.
disrespectful, bro.
Just a couple other really fast ones in here. They're making a movie based on The Sims. I don't know how that's gonna work. It's probably, if I had to guess, it'll be like
Barbie.
God,
You pay per scene if it's by EA, right?
Be like
maybe.
Barbie,
Uh,
tongue in cheek, purposely.
well,
like-
I
The ending, pay us this money.
my assumption it'll be something like the Truman Show, where the person's gonna like realize half.
Oh, that'd be nice.
Oh, no,
I like the Truman
That's
Show.
smart.
I like
that'd be
that.
that'd be actually really
my
smart if they
guess.
did that. Yeah, I like that idea.
Listen, I guarantee that movie gonna bring in some fucking money. Watch, I guarantee.
That would be
Could
smart,
happen.
actually, Danny. I like that thought. That's a good one.
You know what won't bring in some money is they're also making a Monopoly movie.
You know what? Now it depends on how they
It's being
listen.
produced by Margot Robbie for some reason.
What is it?
Oh,
Yeah,
hold
I
on
don't
now,
know,
hold
dude.
on.
I don't know.
Is she gonna wear the mustache and the...
I don't think she's playing the Monopoly guy. I think she's just producing it.
Mr. Moneybags. But listen, me and my family
but
love some Monopoly. We might, I don't know.
Yeah.
It depends on how it looks.
I mean, look, Hasbro and them are going really hard on making games, movies out of their games and toys and stuff. Like, there's a whole list. I won't get into it now, but it's really stupid.
Yeah.
And most of them will probably never see the light of day. And I'm kind of hoping that this is one of them. 'cause I
I'm
don't
hyped
know
for
how
that
it's gonna work.
Transformer and GI Joe.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
Me too.
so that was on there too. They're doing a Transformers GI Joe
Dude,
crossover.
Did you guys hear?
That would be
they're doing
dope.
a Ninja Turtle movie? The
Yeah.
Yep,
Last
TMNT, The Last
Oh
Ronin.
my
They're making a movie based on
God.
that. I think that's really
Mhm.
exciting, but also at the
This
same
is gonna
time, I'm
be
like, I don't know
R-rated.
where the hype for this is coming from now, because like that's been out for a long time. But we
Mhm.
just got the thing last year where they were making a game about it, and now they're making a movie about it, and I'm like, why now? Why? What happened?
And they
But
said
I'm
it's
Yeah.
gonna be
Kevin
for it.
Carter,
rated
one of the
R2.
Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
So the
Hey.
movie's gonna be rated R. I can't wait.
I'm all for it. Shout out to Jedi Knight Peter. What's up, brother? Who else? Did anybody else join it? Yeah, shout out to you. What else did we have besides this? Was there anything else?
That's pretty much it. There were two big trailers that people are really talking up. Is the Joker 2 Folie à Deux trailer. It's the jukebox musical sequel to the Joker.
I was
going
gonna
to
say it's a musical, right? Now
La La Land
or
too.
whatever it was.
I have zero
Uh,
interest in it. I'll be
yeah,
honest.
it's-
I told you I didn't really care for the first one. I thought it was a good movie. I just
Yeah,
didn't think it was
It
really
was
Joker.
fine.
My
Yeah.
thing is, why a musical?
It's,
Yeah.
I think they leaned into too heavy how people from the first movie, what the people really clung on to was that like staircase scene and a couple of the other like him dancing bits. I
Oh,
think they're really
boy.
leaning heavily into that.
Mhm.
It does look like, based on the trailer, that a lot of the musical segments are going to take place in like weird dream sequences, because there's a bit where him and Lady Gaga, Harley Quinn are dancing on the roof of Arkham Asylum, and it says there's like big
Really?
like marquee lights that say Hotel
Yep.
Arkham.
Mhm.
So it looks like it's, I don't know, they're gonna do some things, and it's probably gonna get nominated for some awards, because Joker 1 got nominated for all kinds of stuff.
I'll
So
pass.
who knows? It's
Yeah.
pretty much the same team.
Yeah,
And then the
I'll
other big
pass
thing
as
that people
well.
are talking about coming out of it was Deadpool 3. We
Yes.
don't know a ton about it. They showed like 9 minutes of it. They said Deadpool has been chosen to save the sacred timeline from a looming threat. And the quote from it where Deadpool says, "Does that mean loads of gratuitous cameos?" Which makes my skin crawl, but you know, here we are.
That's gonna be great. Now, did you guys see
Is this
that?
the movie that fixes the MCU
No,
and brings
Would
Robert
that be
Downey
funny?
Jr. back?
no, it really
Did-
won't.
did you
I mean,
see-
I hope, but it won't.
Did you guys see actually the AMC cups or whatever that they show Wolverine in full costume? That looks dope.
Yeah. Yeah.
They did a good job on that.
Looks
Yeah.
pretty good.
For someone who mentioned Robert Downey Jr., he did say he's open to returning, but
Mhm.
he said not as the Iron Man we all know, but as an
Alternate
evil
universe. They
Yeah,
come
but
up.
the evil
They
variant.
can easily play into it, bringing them from a different universe very easily.
That'll be cool. Yeah,
I
that'll be
don't
cool.
know. At this point, I'm just exhausted by the whole multiverse situation, and I just want them to stop. Like, there was a thing, it wasn't part of CinemaCon, but they announced that like there's going to be a Silver Surfer in the Fantastic Four movie, and I'm like, y'all
Yeah.
are doing too much. You need
Yeah,
to
it's-
just tell a Fantastic Four movie that's just about them doing Fantastic Four stuff, and not be like, and here's Galactus, and he's going to eat all the planets. Like,
I'm-
dude, chill.
I'm all
Yeah.
fine
It's
with
really- I feel
Silver
I feel
Surfer,
Zack
but I don't like the
Snyder-
way
Zack
they're
Snyder
going.
must be making these movies with putting all these characters into one movie. Must be
Well,
Zack
yeah.
Snyder.
It's
It
just there's
must
just
be.
too much going on. They're
And
just going
Galactus
way
is
too
supposed to
way too
be
fast.
Galactus is supposed to be like an end boss, kind of like Thanos.
Mhm.
You gotta save him, man. You can't
Yeah.
just, you know.
But it's a little different though in Final.
Like the last
To be
boss.
fair to Fantastic Four, I was almost said Final Fantasy. To the Fantastic Four, it's a little different because Galactus and Silver Surfer were introduced not really as this end boss thing, but kind of like, oh,
That's
here's this
true.
other galactic spacefaring cosmic
Yeah,
enemy
you're
that we
not-
have to go against. But now we
You're not
know him as that because of how powerful he is. But I'll say this: I'm all for it. I don't care that they're going. For one, I'm struggling to see old girl outside of the Ozark, so I'm trying to see how she's going to talk as this new Silver Surfer. Well, not new, because I'm guessing they're going to play her off that. Yeah, the spin-off Silver Surfer, I'm going to call her. but stick to Norrin Rad personally. That's how I feel.
It's not that difficult, right? You want to make money, do the Silver Surfer everybody wants. It's not that
That's
difficult.
that's the way I look at it.
No, I mean, look, if you want to make money, you just do Doom. All right, you just leave Silver Surfer out because Silver Surfer's
Yo,
a
Doom?
confusing mess
I so
anyway.
want Doom,
so
bro.
just leave
I
that
so
dumbass
want
on the
Doom.
street and do Doom.
He's a pacifist.
Listen though, you got to admit it though. When you were younger, you did think that Silver Surfer was cool in that crappy
of
Fantastic
course.
Four movie.
Absolutely never thought that.
Well,
I was like, who's this dumbass made out of mercury? This melting man.
He
This
thought it
shiny
was a
silver
T1000. He thought it was
Danny was
UE3. He was
Danny
a
was-
puddle of metal with no dick.
Danny
Like,
was very negative as a child.
apparently.
Hey, Umbra, they used UE3. That's why he looked terrible.
Oh
Come
damn!
on, man.
You
The,
see
the
this?
one cool thing he did.
He's trying to
in that
cost
movie
me a
was when he,
bag
like,
here. Don't listen to him. Epic.
He like flipped through the board. That was neat. Everything else about him, I was like, yeah, I don't care about this character or anything he's doing.
We need Daniel's negativity in the DM that we're in because I can't be the only negative one on there. Damn it.
No, we got somebody else there that's more negative than you. I think. I'm not gonna
Oh,
say
yeah,
name,
brother.
but listen. So let's transition
Stapleton?
here.
Yeah.
Dan Stapleton. Let's transition here to WrestleMania. I'm gonna do my best Vince McMahon voice.
Well, you just did your best Stephanie McMahon voice, actually.
I know, right? Are you ready? I'm gonna do my best
No.
Vince.
She came out night two, and people.
She-
I don't remember people liking Stephanie. I guess they're back on board now that her.
Oh, no, we love
father's
Stephanie.
out of jail.
No, Stephanie
love
always got
Stephanie.
in.
Like
No,
Stephanie.
people hated Stephanie for like.
No.
No,
Well,
it's true.
maybe they did. I stopped
Since
watching.
like
Well-
the start of the
TV, of
Divas
course it
era,
was.
people have hated her as.
Ah.
And she would like her whole thing was she would come out and she would just undress characters, and I don't mean literally, although sometimes.
Okay, I was about to say maybe
But
I have
she
to
would
tune
just
back
like
in
she
to
would
the
just
whole
like
episode.
be yelling at guys and like slapping everybody. She was awful in the like every storyline
Well, that's
she was in.
that's
was
Stephanie. That's how
awful.
she's always been, like coming to slap people.
storyline.
with.
All right, so then people hated her because she's always been terrible.
I
If
love.
that's-
Listen, I love me some Stephanie. I'm just be honest with you. I thought her character being this
They don't even.
the female McMahon, if you will, she's this antagonist to people. I loved it.
Yeah.
And then she
Well-
took it everything on the chin too, as far as like
They
people
didn't
insulting
even-
her and all that.
Yeah,
Like it was
well, 'cause she's
legendary
terrible, like,
ones with The Rock or Chris Jericho and all that.
Oh
saying
yeah,
whatever.
they used to roast her.
Yeah.
And the thing is
Roast
that I
is
think
great.
I think that people were kind of excited to see her number one because of all the drama that's been going on, kind of like with Vince McMahon,
Definitely.
and
Yeah.
and it was
That's
it was
everybody.
and it was a little bit shocking. But more than anything, I think people were genuinely happy because she's married to Triple H, and it was like a Triple H kind of celebration that weekend, and I think that that's kind of why people were excited to see her.
Yeah, but they got rid of her good
Hmm.
music too. Like she's got this not awful. She's got this like really mediocre theme song now because they got rid of the Queendom one.
Like 10 years.
Because
That's
that
the
one was
same
really
one.
good. What happened to Queendom? When did she use
She
that?
came out
Because
to
that was the
fucking
good one.
WrestleMania.
Every
Listen,
time
I've
that
been
she's
watching
come out-
wrestling forever, and I don't even remember what you're talking about.
You don't remember Queendom?
Bro, she
No.
came out to Queendom at
Queendom?
WrestleMania.
The
We're
only
talking about
song
her
that I
song.
remember,
Oh, okay.
Yeah, her theme.
the song that I remember that Triple
No.
H, like my favorite one, even before the "It's Time to Play the Game" one, was the one that he used to come out and he used to be hit me up with that Triple H.
When he was,
You know which one I'm
really
talking
like-
about,
Oh,
right?
Yeah, when he was
yeah.
Hunter Hearst Helmsley and he was coming out with the little off the
Uh-huh.
top. You know.
Yeah.
That one.
That's the best
But
one.
yo,
I still think-
Queendom song. She came out to that song at WrestleMania.
I still
She did.
think
I don't
his
think she-
his
if
time
they
to play
did,
the
then it
game
was,
is
like, a
much
weird
better.
part of it.
Yeah, she is. She came out to that song.
Oh well, then there was something also going on with their like audio that whole time, where because they also debuted AJ Styles' new theme, and you couldn't hear a second of it.
I didn't even know AJ Styles was still alive.
Yeah, I mean he's around.
Damn.
Yeah.
Apparently he's looking to retire soon. So
I
What's
mean,
up
if he
with?
keeps on
I
making-
wish he
if
would
he
change
keeps
the
on roiding
hairstyle.
up-
That's what I want. Change the
If he keeps-
hairstyle.
If he keeps on roiding up, he might not because that man
Is,
left, and all of a
AJ
sudden he
Styles
came
the
back.
next Big Papa
Nah,
Pump?
He needs
That's
to
not
cut his hair
steroids.
back off to the
Nah,
way
that's
it
not
was
steroids, because
back in the day.
If AJ Styles would have used steroids, they would have fired him. They're not going through that shit again.
Oh,
He's on-
Yoby,
hey, he's
you're
on something.
crazy.
He's
You're
on
crazy
something,
if you don't
brother.
think he
Bro,
juiced
That
up.
brother is
Bro,
juiced.
bro,
There's no
they went
question.
through so many lawsuits back in the day. They're not going through that shit again.
He's
Oh,
on something,
Yoby,
brother.
I
He
wish-
ain't
I
he ain't
wish-
clean. I can tell you that right now.
Yeah.
Do you know if Scott Steiner's giving him all that juice?
Jose Canseco would probably visit
Pause.
his.
Paul
All right, probably poked him in the ass. Okay, pause. No Diddy.
Whoa.
Magnum said, "I bet she took a lot on the chin." I knew somebody was going to make a pun with that. I knew it.
Yo, that's
But
crazy.
listen, let's move into this WrestleMania 40. Guys, what a time to be a wrestling fan. Listen, I had not watched wrestling in a good, I don't know,
Decade.
15 plus, I would say.
Oh,
Wow.
decade and a half.
Yeah.
That's a long
Yeah.
time.
I just stepped away. It stopped being fun to me. It really did. It like when
Yeah.
the whole Attitude Era ended, and then it started shifting to the ruthless aggression, and all these other eras, and it's just kind of like, it's cool, but it's not
Yeah.
that.
To be fair, WWE's worst period of all time was from
The
like
PG era.
2015 to like 21, somewhere
Yeah,
in there, depending
the
on where
PG
you want
era.
to jump.
Because
Yeah.
a bunch of kids
Yeah,
are
I mean,
watching it
that's-
now.
That's
was,
part of
was
it.
that Cena?
Yeah,
And
exactly.
Cena was bad. The more modern stuff, like prior to Triple H taking over, was even worse than that.
Yeah,
Like we're talking about the dog food match. We're talking
Yeah,
about
that's
like
all
we're bringing
Vince
out Naomi to do
Mhm.
a dance off in like 2021.
That was
It's like,
Vince-
what are
that
we
was
doing?
Vincent-
Yeah, see
Vince
stuff
McMahon.
like
I didn't
that.
watch.
Cena was fine. I had no problem with John. I mean, I thought, especially when he was in
Yeah,
his
John's good.
thugonomics era, I thought his
Yeah, that was
thugonomics
my shit.
weren't life. I thought that was his best
It's
personal
based
overall.
thugonomics.
Yeah, later on he got more PG. Hey, some super good man, like super face.
He had
you know.
to, but he was the face of the
Uh,
company, and he was
Now-
doing many Make a Wishes. So
To his credit, I
problem-
mean, the
Oh,
dude
yeah,
is a
okay.
good dude. And to his credit,
Yeah.
he took on that role of super face, and he
Yeah.
still was a killer on the mic. That's the funniest part about it, is that
Yeah.
John is this super good guy, but he would murder you on the mic still, from what I
Yeah.
saw.
Yeah.
when he tore Roman
The-
ass up a few years ago,
The thing
I
that's
saw.
been missing, the thing that's been missing from like WWE and especially AEW, they need to fix this right away. But like the reason this is the formula that got you to be so invested in the Attitude Era. It was the
Mhm.
long-term storytelling that it was
Long-term
Stone
booking.
Cold and Vince McMahon
Oh my
that
gosh,
you
yeah.
just needed to go week to week to week to see what was next. And that's something that they've kind of recreated a little bit again, that now you were so invested in so many storylines that they're currently running right now that you're like, but still, you're like invested, because when you have Roman Reigns being, a champion for multiple years, and now 3 years going on 4 years or whatever the case may be, like you get
4 years.
invested because you're like, okay, who's finally going to be the one to dethrone him? And that's the thing that's been missing from wrestling. They were literally going week to week, month to month on these pay-per-views, just throwing matches together that nobody cared. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
why are these people fighting?
And they
Vince
didn't
got
seem
really
to-
bad
That was
about
Vince.
that for the
That was all
last
Vince.
couple of years.
They didn't seem to have a
Yeah.
viable like challenger for the belt to me. That
No,
seems to be the thing.
They
Like
really
when
didn't.
you go back to other eras, you have The Rock and
they-
Stone Cold, you have Triple
Yeah.
H, you have viable people that's like, yeah, that's clearly a
Because
contender.
they were
Jericho.
they were invested in building stars. What
Lex
happened
Luger.
is
But
that
they
for a
wasn't,
long
though.
time. No, but what happened is that for a long time, like for the rough years that everybody remembers, they were only focused on John Cena, and they weren't building stars
yeah.
around him, and that's the problem.
Well,
Yeah.
even beyond that, like in the late Vince McMahon years, he very famously got mad that so many of the people that he built up, like John, like Batista, even, and The Rock, obviously, that they got famous from WWE and then went off and had like
Yep.
Hollywood careers. He got really mad about that, and so he was very intentionally stopping people from becoming such large names that they could
NXT?
leave.
NXT.
So he was intentionally sort of hamstringing himself for a long time.
Yep.
When Triple H was doing the NXT, and he was building stars down there.
Yeah.
Vince,
And then he would send
got
them up to the
jealous
main
and
roster,
mad,
and they would
sent
throw them
and
away.
he would and Vince would destroy their momentum and turn them into nothing. And there's only a few people who survived. Sami Zayn survived it. Kevin Owens survived it.
Yeah.
Finn Balor survived it. Maybe
But
probably
they even the ones who survived
more
took
wrestlers.
hits.
Oh
Like,
yeah, it's taken a long time to bring their stock back up. A long time. And like look at a guy like Karrion Kross. That guy with Scarlett in NXT was
They
a
just-
killer.
Did
A
you see they
killer.
just sent his ass back to NXT?
Bro,
I think they did the right thing. Yes,
John
absolutely.
Yeah, he's
bro,
not-
his
that team's
debut
not
on the
working.
main roster, they had him lose to Jeff Hardy. What? What are you doing?
As a form of punishment, because that's the thing, right? And we'll piggyback and we'll circle back to concentrate on WrestleMania. But the beautiful thing is that when you've been invested, I've watched wrestling like my whole life, right? And even when the product is bad, I still
watching.
dabble in it. I'm not gonna sit through a horrible episode of Raw, but I would invest time into like the pay-per-views and stuff like that to kind of keep up. But it is so rewarding to have like just wrestling be what it like the spectacle that it used to be. It was so refreshing. It reminded me like honestly of me getting home from middle school and high school and just being dying to watch Raw is War. You know, and that's the thing. That's why
they
Triple
lost that
H
for me.
Yeah, like Triple H to me, Triple H has always been my favorite from that era when he used to wrestle, and now to see him like be leading the
into this
charge, I
position.
think it makes sense
proud of him.
because he has the the psychology of it. He understands how to connect with the fans in that way, and the problem is that Vince is just he was just spiraling out of control. That's you know.
Well,
and,
Triple
and,
H is a wrestler's wrestler, I guess you could say. So he's not coming at this just from a perspective of ownership or at least leadership. He's coming from from
no.
the
That's what
perspective
Nick
of a
Khan is there
wrestler.
for.
Yeah.
Right, Nick Khan is there for the business. He's there for the storylines, for the creative. That's what he's there for, and he's striving. I think it's showing.
Much credit
Nick
to
Khan-
Triple H
Nick
for
Khan
putting
is
the right
there to
people in.
make-
Yeah. What were you saying?
Yeah, no. Nick Khan is there to make all the like smart money decisions that everyone hates, and then Triple H is there to be like, but what if we do the fun thing?
Yeah. And that I guess that combo works. I mean,
Yeah, pretty well.
to go to that point to move us into this,
He did
this
that
is what
that WWE Netflix deal. I wasn't mad about that.
I think that's smart actually.
Yeah,
that they
I'm
did
curious
that.
to see how that's going to work out
Oh, I
because
can't
it's
wait.
really weird to me.
I think it'll work out perfectly because
I
then
think so
It's
too.
because
they're
well, the weird thing
unshackled
about
from
it-
that whole. Oh, we got to be PG. They're unshackled.
I
by
agree.
that.
I
They said
agree.
It was
I
only
mean,
possible because of the Rock.
Maybe, but we
Yeah.
don't know that for sure because they're still going to have all their sponsors, and so their sponsors may still require them to keep it below like a rated R situation.
I would be
But-
interested in seeing if that's the case. I hope it's not.
I mean, but even so, like it's going to be really weird where because it's just Raw. I'm pretty sure that's going on to Netflix.
Yes,
like, it's
it
not
is.
the whole thing. So
Yeah,
you're going
it's
to be like, okay, so on Friday I still
At least for now, at
I
least.
still gonna be gonna watch SmackDown,
now.
but then on Monday,
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
for
also
now, it's gonna be
apparently
Raw.
now it might not Raw might not be on Monday, which like what? It's been on Mondays since like
Friday
the
Night
80s.
Raw.
Friday Night Raw. It
Like,
sounds wrong,
that's-
doesn't it?
What are we doing? It doesn't.
I
feel
actually,
right.
I actually think that the deal, and Umbra, I'm sorry, I'll let you go now. I actually think that the deal is that Raw goes to Netflix and SmackDown goes to USA. I think that's the deal.
Well, this is my thing about it. It's very clear that the fan base wants a return to the Attitude Era. It's very clear. The Rock came back, and to his credit, The Rock, by the way, deserves more credit for the current storyline that we got.
Final
because-
boss.
Exactly, because Rock is savvy and smart, so he understood, and to Triple H and the people above him, you know, the TKO board, Rock spoke on this, and he said that he saw once he returned and it was going to be him and Roman how the fan base reacted and was, you know, anti that largely, and he said, okay, well we're gonna abandon it, but how about we keep the whole angle of me there, but now I'll go full heel and I'll be on Roman's side here and turn it against Cody. It was ingenious and it paid off dividends. And The Rock looks like he's having the time of his life out there, doesn't he? And when you love what you're doing, it shows.
I mean, you know, like you, Umbra, I stopped watching wrestling when I joined the military and I didn't have a TV access, and then when I did, I just couldn't connect with a lot of the wrestlers. I kind of watched indie wrestling, right?
Yeah.
And I used to go to these shows and everything to kind of, get that ECW type of feel.
Yes, sir.
Right.
But watching the first WrestleMania, knowing, oh wait, this is this person's kid. Oh wow, I didn't know that the Uso brothers were Rikishi's kids. And it kind of, this WrestleMania kind of made me feel like what I used to watch wrestling when I was a kid, and all the tapes I used to make in the sense of wrestling with my friends, and freaking doing all the breaking my sister's arm by doing a razor's edge.
Wait. You broke your sister's arm doing it for real?
Yeah. So my sister and I, she was younger, and we used to just play wrestling. And then I did the razor's edge, and she landed wrong, and yeah, that was the end of my wrestling career in the house. And then I think the other time, some person was bothering me, and I literally threw him on the floor and did the sharpshooter, and then I got in trouble for that. But,
So
yeah,
you're
man, I love
the
wrestling.
reason that they started making those commercials. Please don't try this at home.
Oh, dude, I got power bombed on a car.
Ouch.
And I have my friend, another story before we move on. My friend downstairs, his dad was kind of doing some sheetrock stuff on the walls, and then I speared him through the wall, and then I wasn't allowed in his house for a week. Dude, I used to love wrestling like that.
Gore.
I remember being
My God, he broke him in half.
over here.
Oh,
When I didn't live in Jersey, I went to the Prudential Center, and I used to be a Dudley Boy fan, and I was dressed up as a Dudley Boy.
The Dudleys were awesome.
no.
Oh man, yeah, man. I
It's
love
a
it.
ECW, they were in ECW, they were ruthless.
Yes.
Like they used to just pick on the crowd and tell you, oh, your sister swallows. Like it used to be
Dude,
really bad.
That was wrestling, and this WrestleMania, I got to see the new talent, and I felt, I connect with this because this kind of feels like a little bit of the old school stuff, and and it wasn't just when I saw John Cena, I was like, yeah, Peacemaker, he's cool in movies, but I just can't connect with this guy, and but now it seems like Triple H, you got somebody who's kind of like in sports, a coach player,
A wrestler's wrestler, exactly.
Yep.
yeah.
Even though I will tell you, like seriously speaking now, besides the main event on Saturday, I thought that only a handful of matches were good on Saturday. And I think that the problem, honestly, was it was a combination of things, I think. I think what threw off, I think the talent was how cold it was. I think that messed with their dynamics of their wrestling. And also one thing that I think hurt them from a production standpoint was the way that arena, whenever you do a show, and I've heard wrestlers say this, whenever you do a show with no roof on it, the noise goes straight up into the sky.
Yeah.
So when you're in an enclosed arena, that energy just comes through to the TV.
I hear you on
in a
that, but I
different
will
way.
say this though: the second day, Sunday, they were much clearly louder and more interacting.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
I think it was a
Bumped
matter
up
of the audience too.
microphones.
You think
Yes,
so?
because it was so cold.
Yeah,
Because it was
I don't
so
think it
cold.
was the audience. I think it was they heard from night one. They heard
Ah,
that the
I
crowd
see.
wasn't. So I think they upped the mics that were.
That might have. Okay,
aimed
that makes
towards
some
the crowd.
sense. I
I
suppose.
think it was the dude wipes.
The dude wipes. Oh my
Dude
god.
wipes.
So many. We were laughing so hard at how just aggressive the sponsorships.
The
and
average-
the-
yeah.
Oh my!
was-
Listen,
it was
listen.
too much. It was
When
way
I
too
saw-
much.
it was
when I saw
Prime
that
in the middle of the
the-
ring. Yeah.
Listen,
Oh.
when they brought out my fellow Hispanics, brought to you by Fresquitas
LWO.
or whatever.
Yeah.
They bought the Goya
Hey,
beans.
We were joking about that throughout the whole thing.
Oh,
Like this was brought to you by what I say, tequila or something like that.
Mazzola,
Goya, Masola.
Masola. Yeah. And I put
It's
Don
Masola,
Julio.
it's Masola.
Don Julio.
But
But
no,
no,
Man,
I agree with just to give my like general overview of it because I think we're kind of swimming around in circles. I think it was really good. I really liked this WrestleMania. I think the main events really did a lot of the heavy lifting though. I think the majority of the rest of the cards on both nights were almost none of the matches were bad. The only one that I think was genuinely bad was the Jimmy J one. I think that
was
I
horrible.
think that match was
Absolutely
awful.
hated that one.
Every other match I think was fine to good. Like there was nothing else that like disappointed me, but at the same time I don't think I'm going to be looking back at like, wow, that Rhea Becky match was really good. Like the ladder match was fun, the Sami Zayn match was fun.
she had
Everything
piece
else yeah,
of
everything else I
102.
can kind of like
The Jimmy and Jay match was
That-
bro.
That Jimmy and Jay match was.
It wasn't
it was
bro.
it was
And
all
Eric
of the
says
things
it
that you
absolutely
hate.
right. It was ass, absolutely. Plus,
Yeah.
what was I said this in the chat when we were watching it, all of us, and I said it to John and to MJ. I said, what is with all these super kicks? Like they
Yeah.
did like
That's
18
just
super
the
kicks.
Usos. Yeah, it was 15. We
Finishers
counted.
aren't finishers anymore. You get all these finishers and you can't still and they're not down. They come back up. I'm like, what?
Listen,
Yeah, it's
with
like,
all,
come on,
with
It's
all
because
the
the Uso
credit,
super kicks are weak as shit, apparently.
with
They
all
nerfed
with all
they
with
nerfed
all the
them like
credit,
Overwatch, man.
with all the credit that we've just given Triple H at the same time, I'm gonna tell you something. Vince would never allow that to take place. Never. For a match that have 15 or 16 super kicks like that, I don't think he would have signed off on that. He
What,
would've
you know what I
never-
would like to ask you all, and Yobi, I want to go to you too because you haven't really chimed in or had a chance to, but and I'll say this: I'll ask what were your winners and losers personally from all you guys. But this is the thing I don't understand. Watching it lately, I do like a lot of direction is going, but why are there no general wrestling moves? They're like some, but it's typically like punch,
Oh,
throw you around.
You mean like
Yeah.
wrestlers, like Kurt Angle used to do?
Like real actual move. Like can somebody do like, I don't know, a choke hold here and there and then transition to this and a few suplexes and like typically it is super kick, throw you into the ring post, punch you up a bunch of times, throw you out the ring.
The problem is
the
the problem is, Umbra, think about how over the years the NFL and the NBA have changed their rule set to make things a little bit more enjoyable. I guess
This
you can
is not
say,
enjoyable to me at all.
I get
have
you,
to say
but I
that.
think that's the reason why.
Yo,
Yeah.
switching music was switching music back in the day, and that's it. You were out, lights out.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
Sweet Chin Music is different than a super kick because Shawn Michaels is doing it. It's like
It's
how
literally
Rhino
the
does a
same-
gore.
It's
I
the
know,
same
but
thing.
like
What are you talking
it's
about?
it's like if I punch you versus if Muhammad Ali punches you. Like those are different punches.
Yeah, that's the psychology behind it. I remember that everybody used to be like, "Oh, the Cena, the FU," and everybody's like, "It's just a fireman carry." But
right.
Right? Yeah.
That ain't no fire. How the way he does that is not
I mean,
a fireman.
Stoke's
carry.
stunner would take you out. in one
I also
shot.
didn't. I hated when they changed the FU to the attitude adjustment. I'm like, stick to what it was, man.
No,
Like, it was FU.
PG era.
Boo.
A lot of
So
people-
listen,
Hey.
they had to
before
do
I keep complaining about these like super kick extravaganza, Yobi, for you, I guess I'll start with. Well, I'll just ask in general. There's no need to go from night 2 to night 1. What were the like losers for you if you had to go to
that.
matches?
Listen, it was only one match in between WrestleMania day 1 and day 2. The only match I didn't like that much is on Jimmy and Jay.
I
Yeah.
think we're all in agreement.
That's by far the worst one.
Because years ago they said their dream match for them was to fight each other at WrestleMania, and they had the perfect story to do it, but it didn't. And
It didn't pan out. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna say they didn't perform well because they performed well, but it's something something
okay.
didn't.
Fuck off.
I think it was balanced wrong too because they had him dominate him throughout the whole thing.
But listen, this is from me. The match was great, but the whole story-wise aspect of it didn't live up to it. The only time them two shined was during the main event when Jay came out and speared Jimmy off the damn stage. That was the only, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
it was pretty cool.
I agree.
I will add to that to say that to me the problem is one. I agree with you 100%. One, it was the fact that Jay just dominated. Jay just dominated with the whole thing pretty much. Just super kicked each other to death. Then he just really just kept
Yeah.
beating his ass. And then he was like, oh, no, please, no more. And then he tricked him and kicked him back. And then he got him back, and that was it. That's one. They were supplementary to the main event. And that's what made them feel like lackluster even more so. Because it was like, oh, I'll just pop up and to help and to Roman.
Yeah, but here's the thing, okay, and this is number 100%. They didn't live up to their potential, and number two, that was not a WrestleMania worthy match. I'm sorry,
It really
that was
wasn't.
that was a Sunday Night Heat type match. Get out of here.
But to be
Sunday
fair,
Night.
yeah,
I can see
that
that.
match was
I
bad.
can see that.
I think that there's other matches that were on the card that were not WrestleMania quality. That one
Yeah.
was the only one that I think is bad.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
like the women's the trios match, I also thought that was not WrestleMania quality, like even just from the entrance, like the production of Bianca, Jade, and Naomi's entrance, where it's just like we're gonna put them on a forklift and then we're gonna come down and we're gonna play all of their songs individually, but only for like 10 seconds, and then they're gonna get into the ring, and it's gonna be just like it's just gonna be a race to get Jade into the ring so that she can do her 2 moves that we allow her to do, and the match is over. And it's like, all right, cool.
The problem is Daniel, and I understand this because I can just imagine the talent working their ass off the whole year and then be told, hey, we don't have room for you. I think that's why they do a lot of these matches, that they just stick everybody together. But in my opinion, even having 2 nights, it's just out of place, because it's like, who cares? You know, like, who cares about this right now? And I think that's the problem.
I really feel like WrestleMania like, because each night was what, 4 hours? It was like 6 to 10, I think.
No, the first night was like between 4 and 5 hours, and the second night was 3 hours.
Something like that. Yeah. I think if you just cut out a handful of these matches and turned it into one night again, and it was like maybe it's like a 6-hour pay-per-view, because it's WrestleMania. Like if there's going to be one that's going to go long, it should be WrestleMania.
Oh, I have bad news for you.
One
they
night,
are not
I
going
think
back
that's
to one
fine.
night.
They're never
going
going
to do that, because then they won't be able to pretend that they got 180,000 people when it's the same people just counted 3 times. They won't be able to have as many matches in there to
listen,
to do all the sponsorships.
Are you saying that Jim Ryan
would be
cooking
bad
the
for
books?
money?
Is Jim Ryan cooking the books?
So
maybe a little bit, but like,
so I agree with you on that.
I just think it makes the show harder.
It does make it harder.
It's just like,
Yeah, and that's the problem. I agree with you. I was actually surprised. I'm like, 2 nights? What the hell? So I think condensing it down to 1 again would be the smarter choice as far as actually enjoyment of the product. Clearly, they're making a lot of more money doing it the other way around. So I get it.
They'll never.
Yeah, it's too late now. But I mean, even with that in mind, as far as like numbers, they still did a lot. They just haven't. The only one they didn't outdo, I believe they said, was WrestleMania 32, as far as numbers, as far as like people in seats. So they definitely had a lot, and that was only like, I think, by like roughly 10,000 for a night, like for one night. Because I think in 32 they had like 80 something thousand versus like 70 something.
Can I vent about one thing, Umbra, that I just hate about wrestling right now?
Mm-hmm.
There's too many titles, man. Like it's like
everybody's
walking around with titles.
I don't mind the titles. What I do mind is how they seem to pass off over to each other too quickly. Like, you look at the main event title, that had a lot of weight to it because Roman held it so long. That makes that one has more weight. When you have it where a lot of these lady titles switch hands, it seems like every other week, and then it's like, okay, it's a joke. Or the tag team titles switch every other week. It's like, okay.
I like it
when for a good while. I think she's up to like over a year already.
Who's that?
I like it.
Rhea.
Rhea. She's had it.
Okay.
She's had it for a year. Now, I personally think that the change Triple H should make, which they're not going to do it because they want to pretend like they have 2 shows, which it's really not, but whatever. The thing is that, look, there can only be 1 champion. I'm sorry. That, like, this whole, this is the WWE champion, this is the world champion. No, I'm sorry. There's only 1 champion. You know what I'm saying?
I agree with you, but I disagree, and I'll tell you why. Because they brought in a WCW title. That's why, right?
Because listen, if they go back to having 1 champion, and then a lot of people won't get time to shine no more. So
not even just that, but it's also, again, they brought in a WCW, so to kind of keep the honor of that legacy there, because that's what Damian, he pretty much has a WCW title. I'm taking it. That's what that one is, right?
Kind of. It's so what it is
it's a remake.
Roman was holding the Raw title and the SmackDown title and the Universal title, which was just the Raw title at the time.
Oh, that's right. He did have 2 titles he was holding.
He had
he was the undisputed champion. He was the undisputed champion.
Which is still what they call the one that Cody's holding. It's still called the undisputed.
Exactly. It makes no sense. It makes no sense.
So he's got that one. So really that's like 2 belts, and then they like, because when he was still carrying both of them, they introduced a 3rd one and gave that one to Seth. And so my only problem with the World Heavyweight Championship is it doesn't feel like a secondary title. It feels like a 3rd title. Like, it feels that far down the totem pole.
Even Roman makes fun of it in that way. He talks about it that way
because that's how they have kind of built it up to this point. And I love Damian, but I don't think he's the guy to change that.
I kind of agree, honestly.
And
I am happy for him, though.
But if there was any title that I think that they should get rid of, I think they should merge the tag titles because A, they're ugly. I don't like the way those titles look. They need a redesign really bad. And B, the WWE tag division is just not strong enough to support 2 titles.
I agree.
I'm looking at it right
that one
now,
I can agree with.
Like
I will disagree on the belt design though. I think the belt design looks fine. You know what I will say? I hate the undisputed belt. I hate the way it looks all the way through. Like I hate it with a passion. It's like a gigantic WWE is unnecessary. Go back to the more winged eagle style. Like
that's what they're doing. Is Cody is doing that.
Well,
I pray he does. I pray that it does.
No, I mean it's already basically confirmed.
This is what I would do if I were them.
Hey, there we go.
This is what I would do if I were them. On Raw, I would make the big championship the Intercontinental, and on SmackDown, I would make it the US title, the big ones. And then Cody should just be the champion, the one that's on both shows, the one that everybody is trying to beat. That's the way I would do it, because to me, this having 2 world champions, it feels like if everybody is the champion, like who cares?
I kind of get what you're saying. I do get what you mean, but this is what I would say. Like the problem is they have Raw and they have SmackDown, so they have to have the top billing on either side.
But you
that's the problem for it.
Well, the reason that they used to have that many titles is because of Survivor Series. Survivor Series, they would do title versus title basically, and so they would have the Raw champion go against the SmackDown champion. But that's not really a thing anymore. Like even when they do SmackDown, even when they do Survivor Series, it's not that same thing. Like they don't. It is still Raw versus SmackDown, but it's not on that same level. And so I kind of agree. I don't necessarily think it's justified at this point. I don't mind the number of titles that they have too much. It's not overwhelming. They just introduced like a new one in NXT, I think, or something, and like so I don't know. There's a lot of titles.
Think about it like this.
Championships.
Let's move over, and I'll end it here. Let's move over to the ladies. Rhea Ripley is the world champion, right? And then what's her name?
Bailey is she's the women's champion.
So she's basically the Intercontinental champion. I hope you know that, of the ladies.
No, it is
because
effectively
Rhea Ripley is the top billing in the women's division. So that's why just rename it. It's the Intercontinental Championship for the ladies.
Well, what would they call it?
I don't know.
One is now the Divas belt, right? And then the other is the women's.
They
I don't
did
think
away
they
with
even
that.
need to rename it.
They did away with that?
Yeah.
They did away with that a long time ago.
So what do they call them now?
They even need to rename it though.
The world heavyweight and the world
wrestlers.
They just call them wrestlers.
Sweet Baby came in.
No, the belt titles for the women. What do they call those now?
Rhea's is called the Women's World Champion, and Bailey's is called the WWE Women's Champion. So I already think Rhea's,
that's stupid.
I already think name-wise, Rhea's sounds bigger because it's the World Champion. And
that's what I'm saying. But for the men, it's flipped. You see what I'm saying? That's why it makes no sense.
I don't think so. I don't think it is, because Cody's is called Undisputed Universal Champion, and then Damien's is just called Heavyweight, World Heavyweight.
Look, man, it makes no sense. And the thing is, again, like I know we've gone too deep in this.
Title is a playoff. It's a playoff for Damien's title.
I know we've gone too deep into this.
I think I get your point, John, on it, and I think going to the Survivor Series thing, going back to the old style, like Danny pointed out, I think that would actually be pretty smart. If they did that, that would make more sense. But I get why they have
they're doing
belts.
a draft, so I think they probably will.
Yeah, that'll be cool. And I think it makes more sense, though, because they have SmackDown and Raw. That's why they want to keep it where they have these 2 major belts.
No, that's absolutely why.
I get it, because they have to honor that talent over there, too, right? Like, if you're on SmackDown, you don't want to be like, oh, we don't get the belt over here. You get it on Raw.
But you do. No.
No.
This is why. The champion, Cody, needs to be on both shows. You need to defend against
but he
people
can't do
on
that.
Raw and SmackDown.
You know he can't do that. They don't have the capacity. They don't have the capacity to do that. You know that.
They have a draft coming up. They're not gonna do that. No,
even regardless of the draft, think about it like this, John. They would not have the flexibility. They would have no time. He would have no alone time with his wife.
Exactly.
He would have no freedom. He would have to be at every show. He would.
You want to be the champion. You want to be the champion, right?
Nah, that's too much. That's too much responsibility.
SmackDown, Damien's
that's
gonna be
too
the
heavy.
Leave that. Don't bother it. Leave it alone.
Then you're not the champ.
I figured Cody would be the champion of Raw. If anything, it's a more premier.
No. Damn it. Okay, SmackDown is the A show now. Raw
Is
is
it
the
now?
B show now.
Yeah.
Because of the whole
Dang.
bloodline shit. So Cody's
Wow.
gonna be on SmackDown. Damien's gonna be on Raw. The World
It's-
Heavyweight Championship was
yeah.
made for Raw.
I see. Well, now it's funny because I remember at a time Raw was the top billing event. SmackDown kind of took
Yeah,
over
of
for a
course.
while
That's
because
how it
of
was
The
for a long
Rock
time.
and everybody. You remember that? Yeah. But
Yeah.
anyway, just to move on to this, I guess we'll quickly go through this. Now we had one of the shout out to diversity, I guess, in I could hear somebody clenching their teeth. Oh, DEI. But shout out to our 3 Hispanic folks who won championships this past event, should I
Talk
say.
about it.
Oh,
We
I always
had-
forget that Bailey's Hispanic.
That's right. Yeah, Bailey.
I didn't
always
know that.
forget that.
She defeated Io Sky. You had obviously
Io
Damian
Sky.
Priest cashed in on. By the way, I thought Damian Priest that cash in. I thought that was well
Was
done.
fire.
That
It
was
was
good.
well done.
That was
That was
It was
good,
well
that was
done.
good.
I do think that Drew McIntyre would have been a better champion, but that's fine.
Oh no,
It's
yeah.
fine.
I'm sure he'll get it back.
I-
It does feel
look,
kind of messed up.
I
He got
wasn't ex-
cheated out so
Listen,
fast.
I was not expecting it, guys.
I
not
didn't either.
expecting it.
Oh,
Me
no,
either.
Me
Hold on,
and
John.
me and my friends, whenever we're watching pay-per-views, because we watch all of them for
Yeah.
all the companies. We even watch like New Japan.
They're
we
premium
always-
events. They're
No,
premium
we-
events.
Well,
sir.
they're premium live events in WWE, but like New Japan and AEW, everyone else calls them pay-per-views
Pay-per-views.
because you still pay for them.
Yeah.
But so we always do predictions
Mhm.
for this WrestleMania. We were like almost every single one we got right. Like this was a very predictable show for us. To the point where we were even like, will Damian Cat? We had a prediction for how many super kicks, and my friend Skylar guessed 15, which was the exact number in that match.
Wow.
Oh wow.
And
That's
we,
ridiculous.
We had a bonus point for will Damian cash in and against who, and we all said yes. And we said it would be against Seth, and it was against Drew technically. So, but
you still
like,
technically right. I mean,
I mean,
yeah,
we
it's
were
that
pretty
match at least. Yeah.
The way
No,
that
that's
they
pretty
did it
funny.
was genius. The way that they did it was genius because it not only was it good for Damian and the title,
Yep.
how they got it off him, but it also pushed the story of Drew and CM Punk
Agreed.
even more.
100%.
So
It did, but I don't think Drew needed to temporarily win it for that to be the case. And me as like a person who would kind of
no, he
I think
did.
for me it
did.
annoyed me because now it's like Drew is going to go down in the history books as the second champion of that, like the second ever person to hold that title, and he held it for like 2 seconds.
I'm gonna tell you
Yeah.
why
so
it
in the
makes
record
sense.
books, it's going to look
a
stupid.
lot of heat.
I'm
a lot
gonna-
of heat behind that now, though. What were you
I'm
gonna
gonna
say?
tell you. I'm gonna tell you why it makes perfect sense from a wrestling storyline standpoint for 2 reasons. Number one, now you've really given Drew McIntyre reason to hate CM Punk because he
Mhm.
cost him the championship.
Yeah,
And
sure.
number two, Drew was telling Seth the whole time that the reason he was going to lose this title was because he had his eye off the ball. He had his eye off the ball and it cost him, so it bit him in the ass.
Sure,
and,
but all of that
and
can
the-
be true without him winning, though.
well, no. But here's
He could have
here-
cost him the
but,
match
but,
against
but
Seth.
here's the
That's
final
fine,
thing. Think about what it does for Seth Rollins. He ultimately ended up, even though he lost the night before and he lost the title, at the end of the night when he shook Cody's hands, he still looked like a superstar because of the sacrifice that he did for it. Like
You talking
Seth has
about,
always
Seth?
been known. Yeah,
I don't
Seth
know.
has
Yeah.
always been known to be as this greedy, character. What he did was selfless, and
Yeah.
he said leading up to the build that he
I will
was
be
Give me
going.
a shield. Yeah.
Yeah,
And he literally came out in his shield
That's-
attire.
And this is
And
what
he-
I would
yeah,
say.
but when he came out in his shield attire, he didn't do diddly squat.
But
that
it
man
was
came
a
out,
it was a
immediately
symbolism.
punched.
Yeah, we
Boy,
did.
it
That
was
was
touch
that
on
was hilarious.
soul.
He wasn't supposed to.
I
it was
love-
a setup.
I
It
even
was a
loved how
setup.
they did that, by the way, how Roman jumped in the ring like, nope, pop. But I will
Yeah.
say
Yep.
this. It was the symbolism, right? And also the music, because a lot of people thought it was going to be Dean Ambrose. I loved how they
lot
did
of people
all
really
of
I mean,
that.
it was never.
A lot of
A lot of
these
people really
these
got
other
that.
matches fed into the main event. Now, I liked that,
Mhm.
but I would also point out that it kind of diminishes the other matches to a degree because there is no
Definitely.
deeper input of story in those other matches versus just the main event. And I think
Yep.
that's what they need to work on. They have to work on making these other
100%.
matches more than, oh, I'm going to go against you now. Like, they have to put more into it and
Yeah.
create more heat with these other matches going forward. That, in my honest opinion.
Well, the
Maybe.
Sammy one was pretty good because they had built it up for like the last few months
was
that
solid.
Sammy,
Yeah,
and it was
okay.
It didn't
was
wow
good,
me
but
though, but it was okay. It was
The
solid. I
match
guess.
was really good. The story didn't do much for me.
Yeah.
The problem is that people want Sammy to win a world championship, and he had to settle for the
Nah.
Intercontinental Championship.
He's not a world champion caliber wrestler to me at all. I think he's a likable guy. Hell, I almost can't see him in the belt he has now. Being honest, but I'll be honest. I just don't see him as a champion.
I could
Let
see
me
him
just say
taking
this number.
Damien's maybe.
I can't even see him getting that.
Like-
I'm being honest. I just don't see him as. I think he. You know what he reminds me of? Daniel Bryan. I didn't think Daniel Bryan.
was a
Oh,
I-
right now, I mean,
I didn't
Daniel
think he was
Bryan
worthy
is-
of it. Honestly, to me, he didn't wow me as a champion either. I know he was loved to be loved. He just did not wow me as far as that. I thought he was.
Let me say
He
this.
fit into the more intercontinental slash European champion. Like he fit into that area for me. He never fit as world champion to me. And,
All right,
but
let me
to
say
be
this
fair,
right
to be
That's a hot
fair,
take,
I
but
was
it's fair.
kind of glancing here and there. To be fair, at that point, I wasn't watching wrestling as heavy at that point. So maybe I
That's
might be
fine.
off base.
Yeah.
All right,
yeah.
Let me say this before y'all move on.
Mm-hmm.
With the Sammy and Gunther match, fantastic match. But a little bit before that, I didn't like what Sammy said too. He said he had a private conversation with Booker T.
Yeah.
And he said that he didn't appreciate that the fans didn't he didn't appreciate how the fans responded to his match against Gable because he had a match against Gable to go to WrestleMania and Gable won. I mean he won and he was mad. He got discouraged because the fans wanted Gable to win. And me personally, I wanted Gable to win and go to WrestleMania to win. Why? Because
I did too.
Sammy already had his WrestleMania moment. He had his moment at the what it was the War Games. He had many moments in the Bloodline story. Like bro, Chad never really got his moment. Honestly,
True.
that all should have been Chad moment.
Should have been.
Yeah.
Okay.
Chad, I
I
do
agree.
think Chad,
Eric agrees with you. Yeah.
Yeah, I do think Chad deserves it.
Sammy
I
was
do
being
think
selfish.
that
He was being selfish.
needs to distance himself a little bit from some of his and he's already starting it, but some of his current angle stuff is really like the shoosh, like that needs to stop, and then we can put a belt on him. But he's really really good.
I actually think that this coming Monday they have a match. I actually
Because he
think
could
that
wrestle his ass off.
Chad's gonna turn probably. Because when he loses, because I think he's gonna lose, I think he's gonna snap, and that's what's gonna get him to hopefully get like I don't know, like I see him as he has the potential to be the next Kurt Angle. He really does. Like he's
You know,
that talented.
Well, that's
Speaking
what
of
he
that-
was
had the
sort of
potential to be
angled
the
as
next
when he
Chad
was
Gable.
in American Alpha. So
I got a question on you guys with the main event person. I'll
Yeah.
get to that in a while, but because I had a thought on it. But so again, to shout out to Bailey, like was pointed out, Damian Priest, and of course our
Triple
new
B,
undisputed
Big Booty
champion,
Bailey.
the Big Booty Bailey, our undisputed champion now, and Cody Rhodes, all have Hispanic heritage and such. And I know Cody is mixed race, biracial, whatever, but yeah. I would have never guessed, by the way, that he had.
No.
Yeah,
that
but
dude
he
is white
is.
as the
Me
German snow.
neither.
Yeah, you're right.
When they did that thing this year and they
Mama
showed, I was
Rhodes.
like, wait, what?
Yeah, I was
Gotta
surprised.
have
I was like,
no
"What?
idea.
Say what you say?"
Mama Rhodes, what is she? Cuban? She's Cuban.
Yeah, I
I believe
think
she's
so.
Cuban.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Mama
that
Mama
means
Rhodes.
that means that Insomniac's gonna knock down her flag in her house.
Yo,
but that's
shut
So
up, bro.
is he gonna? So is he gonna
Yeah.
join LWO? Or?
Yeah. All right. So okay, now I'll say this. What about to you guys, LA Knight and AJ Styles match? What did you feel about that?
I thought that was
was
okay.
enjoyable.
Yeah, it didn't
was
blow me
okay.
away. I was expecting it to because I think both of them are really good wrestlers. I don't think it lived up to my personal expectations for it, but it was still a good match.
Yeah.
Well, MJ Dark found out that AJ's still alive, so
Oh,
There is that.
he's still alive. That's true. Hey, guess what? He's back, baby. He's been back for a while. Well, he was back and then he got hurt, but now he's back.
Yeah. By the way, no, Pete said I'm the undisputed champion. You are the undisputed champion, Pete. I saw a clip where it showed LA Knight and AJ Styles like fighting in this ballroom looking area, and AJ
Yeah.
suplexed him. I'm like, what? And it wasn't like on a soft spot. He suplexed him on a
concrete
hard
floor.
concrete floor,
Yeah,
and then his
that-
nose
it
got
was
bust
a-
open. He got busted
It
his
was
nose
a
too.
fan event. Like right before
Yeah.
I
WrestleMania.
loved it. That was
Yeah.
fire.
That
was
looks
fire.
legit serious. Like they were into it for real. Like that looked real. Like I mean, clearly it was real. He slammed him, and he didn't
Yeah,
slam
there's
him
only-
softly either.
There's not a lot of fake ways to slam somebody.
Yeah, right. He
I'm gonna tell
slammed
you
him,
the old
slammed him.
Jim
I was
Ross
like,
line.
ouch.
I'm gonna tell you the old Jim. It ain't ballet. Like,
Yeah,
what you say, it
you're
ain't
right,
ballet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was actually, you know what? I love seeing stuff like that because we know what it is, right? It's scripted entertainment, right? And now, but they do real moves to each other that can obviously hurt you bad. We've
Yeah,
seen
dude, get
it.
hurt all the time.
Dude,
Absolutely.
I got powerbomb. That shit hurts.
Listen, I've had all types of manner of moves done on me
Man, listen.
growing up. I've done them.
Yeah, I was on
I
the
didn't
like
break
16
anybody's arm
back
like
then.
our
Yeah,
brother
didn't break my sister's
MJD. But I did give somebody a choke slam and their knee hit their chest, and I was like, that's enough.
Jesus.
I rock bottomed my cousin one time into my mother's bed and broke it. I'll never forget these things, but I never quite hurt anybody until I gave somebody a choke slam and their knee hit
Listen,
their chest.
somebody now. Just telling you, why do you watch wrestling? That stuff is fake. That's the same thing as somebody telling you, why do you play games? That's for kids. Like,
Or movies. Why do you watch movies?
I tell them every time. I want
it's
to see
fake,
you
they
take a
wrote
body
it.
slam and get back up. You're not getting up. You're not getting up.
Yeah,
no,
hurts,
but
bro.
it's just a stigma, and it's just like
it
really
is.
like
it's
like
a way to
suspense-
downplay it. That's all.
sus-
Like
I am
suspend
surprised
disbelief for a
that-
second.
Yeah, I am surprised that argument still exists in 2024,
Oh,
where it's
dude, I
like,
hear it every
yeah,
day.
dude, no shit. Like,
I hear it
Stardust
every day.
wasn't from space. Shocker. Really? Undertaker isn't really an undead wizard from hell? I had no idea. Like, it's
Oh,
it's
he's
a
not
it's
real?
a fantasy show. Like
not
that's
Well,
Come on.
when I was little, I really thought Undertaker and Kane were brothers. I really thought them two was
I
brothers.
love the whole storyline of it, right?
Yeah,
Them
Yeah,
being
yeah,
brothers, and
yeah.
he
I really
burned the
thought they were
house
brothers, man.
down, and Kane was burned in there alive, and all.
Yeah,
I loved all
Mark
that.
Little thing
Those were
that he put on
storylines.
his throat, My name is Kane.
My
Yeah.
name is Kane, right? Like
That
stuff like
was
that.
hilarious.
That's the part I think that they've been missing out on is helping to make these wrestlers unique. Some of them, now, it's not to say that they're not unique now, but they don't have the outstanding personalities that a lot of the Attitude Era wrestlers had. To me, that they were.
You
kind
remember
of,
Papa Shango?
Oh yeah, I remember Papa
God,
aka All right, Godfather, exactly.
Like,
Yup.
There was something
Godfather,
else
much
before that,
much
I
more
forget
memorable.
what it was.
He put a spell on the Ultimate Warrior. He started vomiting. and
I
everything.
remember
that.
that. I'll
Yeah,
never
that
forget
was
it.
cool.
Actually,
Pretty cool.
Crazy.
yeah.
And then he fucked
Yeah,
up that
that-
one WrestleMania because he missed his cue and didn't run down.
But so we had the LA Knight, and listen, I'll say this: LA Knight, I think he's okay. I don't think he's wowed me just yet. He's had some moments on the mic where I was thought, okay, that's pretty cool. Then sometimes it seems like he's trying
Choking
too
on his
hard.
gum.
But it
I
seems
watched
like he's
him.
trying too hard because he's trying to emulate like Stone Cold and The Rock.
Yeah.
It feels like.
He's not emulating. That's how he talks.
Thing is, he's neither.
I get some
Hold on,
Rock
hold on,
/ Stone Cold esqueness from.
Hold on.
I was, you know what I was hoping for in WrestleMania?
Because
Tony Khan to go nuts, and we see MJF
It
coming.
happened.
No, that's not gonna
No,
happen.
no.
Listen, Umbra.
You know, Tony Khan would have had a breakdown.
Umbra.
What's-
Felt his life was in danger. What's up?
LA Knight actually talked about this. About people say he sounded like the Rock and Stone Cold.
What did
He
he
actually
say?
talked about this. I don't.
That's the way I
do not
talk.
Remember? Yeah, like that's the way he talked. Because
That's the way I
even
talk.
had it- because he even brought up like talking with the Rock at one time about it. It's like, hey, you kind of sound like me. It's like, hey, yeah, we do kind of sound like each other. Like when I find an interview, I'll send it to you.
He's like, what do you want me to do? It's my vocal cords. You want me to rip them out?
But it's not the way. It's not his voice. It's his mannerisms. It's the
The
whole
delivery, yeah.
sunglasses. The delivery, right? Like it's very Stone Cold esque / Rock
He
esque.
always had that. Joe. He's been that.
Yeah,
since
and
he's been
even
like that.
even the yeah thing
Always?
is like what? It's
Yeah,
like a
he always
what,
had
you
that.
know?
He had that since
I
TNA,
Since
and I believe before
He
TNA.
had that since seeing Stone Cold and Rock. Yeah, right. Yeah. See,
Man,
I don't
let
think
the
he's
man
always
live.
had that. I'm all for it. I'm just saying that I
Let him
definitely
live.
see
Let
where
him
he's getting
live.
his influences from. But just to me, I just don't think he doesn't wow me. And I'll say this: I hate his finishing move with a passion. It's like a fake. It's like a fake stunner, but like not quite. Yeah, and it's like it's like a fake RKO esque. It's just like just give him another move.
If the man want to do that move, let him do his move.
I'm sorry, it does not inspire main
I love
event.
the
Man,
fact
he
that
had to-
Umbra is not feeling LA Knight at all. And I
I'm
love it.
trying to.
He had to.
I'm
No,
trying to.
I'll be honest.
but-
I'm with Umbra on this one. Like, I don't think he's bad, but I see the whole arena doing the yeah chant, and I'm like,
no.
but this is just like some dude's dad. Like, what's he doing out here?
Man,
You
Yeah,
gotta
Is
admit,
he
he
picking-
does-
is he
he
picking
does
his
ha-
kid up? Or is like,
he does have one cool move, which is when he does the box jump to the top rope, and then he does a suplex. That is the coolest thing that he does.
man, let me talk to you. Yeah.
Let me talk to you, cause I'm stone cold. Yeah.
All right.
Really,
See,
bro.
let me talk to him. Yeah.
I'm out of here.
Even the way he says "yeah" annoys me. Yeah. I
Well,
don't
that's
know.
I
your
will
future
say,
world
though,
champion right there.
I will say
Oh,
though,
no.
he is a very good Slim Jim's guy. Slim Jim.
Oh,
commercial
I did
guy.
like the commercial. I did like the
Fits that
commercial.
role real good.
yeah.
That
Let me
could be his
let
championship.
me snap into him. Yeah, snap.
Yeah.
Next time I do it, yeah.
No Diddy.
Right.
Really, John?
They had the Pride versus the Final Testament. That was also pretty to me.
It wasn't great. Yeah,
Yeah.
I heard
it was.
that they were gonna get LA Knight as the spokesperson for Asus Raw Gala. Yeah.
hey, I don't want that.
X1 Extreme. Yeah.
I don't
Hey,
I don't want
perfect
this.
wrestler for the perfect device.
Hey.
So Umbra, when it comes
Yeah.
to this match, originally it wasn't supposed to be Bubba. It was supposed to be an RVD, but he couldn't do it
Really?
because he was because
Too
he's
high.
Have
no,
you guys
no.
seen
He's
RVD's
too high.
wife?
AEW, that's why.
Have you guys seen RVD's wife? Have you guys seen who?
Not lately. I've seen her before,
I've
I
seen his
think.
wife. Yeah.
I mean,
Don't do it.
She
No,
nice?
look,
yeah, just Google
No.
that when you get a chance.
All right.
she's
So Umbra, it was supposed to be an RVD, but
She's
since he
plasticky.
supposedly signed to AEW, he couldn't do it.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I don't know if
Well-
he's signed there or if he's just doing like if he just
Well,
making
he's doing
appearances.
some stuff at AEW,
What did-
and,
what-
and they told him no.
What did you
Mm.
guys think? Because let me tell you, like seriously, and when I did hear his speech, I got kind of teary-eyed there for a second because, like, I've seen Paul Heyman's whole career like in front of my eyes since I was like 10 years old, literally. What did you guys think of his speech? Because man, there's no one
Paul
else
Heyman?
that is like Paul Heyman.
Oh, I didn't watch the Hall of Fame, so I don't.
I didn't get a
thought
chance
it was
to watch
great.
it. I'm gonna watch it in the morning when I wake up.
I thought it was
Watch
great.
it, man.
It was really
Watch it.
solid. I mean, Paul Heyman is one of the best on the mic of all time, in my honest
And
opinion.
what about minds for wrestling? He just-
Absolutely. I'll give him that
he-
too. I also like the way he
First
said,
movie
like
champions?
I like the way he said, I know it's cliche and you hear it all the time that you ain't seen nothing yet, but he says, I forgot how he said it. I know he cursed, but he's like, you haven't seen anything yet, basically saying like his
Facts.
best is to come. And I believe that because he's a great wrestling mind. There's
Seriously.
no question.
Dude,
Because of him,
He's
because
first
of him,
champion.
check this out. This is everything that he was able to do for wrestling that we all loved during that time. Number
Mm-hmm.
one, ECW had the best crowd of all time in
Facts.
any wrestling
Mm-hmm.
event. Okay, the most passionate. All right. Secondly,
Raw
his
now
ideas
Raw
at
was
that-
pretty crazy now.
No,
I
no,
would
but
say
they got
I would
that-
prefer the
no,
Attitude
no,
Era
hell no.
Raw.
But they
I was
got
gonna say
that
Attitude
from-
Era Raw was insane.
No,
and
but
they,
listen
and
to
they
me.
weren't throwing their chairs into the ring like a bunch of damn street rats.
Exactly.
Listen
All
to me.
right?
Did
And
you
I know
guys-
you're gonna angle that as a positive. I don't like it.
Did you guys?
He
did
called
you
them street
guys-
rats like I'm feel like I'm watching Aladdin right now. He called
Did
them
you guys ever watch ECW
no.
One Night Stand when they brought
did.
ECW back for
Yeah.
that first?
Oh
Let me
yeah,
t-
I did.
and they
that
put like
crowd
Big Show on the
was-
ECW roster for no reason.
Dude, but that crowd was epic on that pay-per-view. Okay,
Oh, no, they were
throwing John
crazy,
Cena's
for sure.
shirt
It was
back.
great.
Remember, John Cena would throw his
Oh,
shirt.
yeah,
and they would
yeah,
just throw
yeah.
it back at him. Like,
Yo,
we don't want
I
this
thought
shit.
they was- I
Ah.
thought they was gonna kill him
ECW
that
was I remember going to a show in Queens
Yeah.
and it was at a high school
Talk
Mhm.
about it.
and it was wild. You
I
know,
can
Rob Van
imagine.
Dam was amazing. Sabu, can't forget about
Oh
Sabu.
my
Sabu.
God, Sabu.
Sabu.
Freaking,
Yeah.
you know, it was. I went to this thing called
Sandman.
All Elite Wrestling. They have here in New
AEW.
York.
Yeah, AEW.
And, no, not Elite Wrestling. Sorry, there's another one called Warriors of Wrestling. Excuse me.
Oh, I've
they're
never
like
heard of
indie.
that.
And
WOW.
yeah, they're like indie, and I forgot who went
Who's
over
in there?
to.
Doink the Clown? Who's in there?
No, he's
So
been dead a long
So
time.
this guy went. So people show up. People from from WWE show up. You know, prior champions and everything show up to this. And I think who was it that I saw? Oh, Tommy Dreamer, and
Yeah.
Oh,
that
yeah.
guy was
He's in
gone.
NA now.
Like he was there just to cash in whatever $50 he needed for beers.
Well,
And-
Tommy Dreamer is still an active roster member on TNA right now.
Is he?
And he works backstage
Yeah.
as well.
Oh, that reminds me, like when I used to go, there was a wrestling thing that you just reminded me of that I went to one day. It was like in a flea market or something, and Norman Smiley was there, and I'm like, "Hey, can I get you a soda, brother?" Like,
And,
give me a Diet Coke.
and
I literally got Norman Smiley a Diet Coke.
You ain't right.
So cool.
Hey,
So
can I get
they
you to
have-
hook
no,
you
they-
up with a
it's,
pop? There you go.
this place has like really good matches. It's like, and it's like, it feels like, ECW. That I sometimes go to the matches. I go to Staten Island. I watch the matches here. They'll have people show up. I forgot who was there from WWE that I can't
Haku?
remember his name. Huh?
Haku was there.
No.
Remember Haku?
But-
the Demolition. Who
No,
was there,
but
man?
like I said, I think Tommy Dreamer and who was this other guy?
Sandman.
Um,
maybe?
Is it another
Sandman,
ECW
yeah.
thing?
But Sandman, but they're all like, like again, they're just there,
They're
and
done.
you can
They're
barely,
done.
you can barely
Yeah.
them. They barely do any moves. So like they'll tag in and they'll go
Yeah.
around and just walk around like, what is this? And
Yeah,
then
know-
when you go talk to them, like, hey, $40 to talk to you, I was like, get out of here, man.
It's sad. It's unfortunate that a lot of
Yeah,
those
it is.
legends we grew up watching, they're in the situation they are in. I mean, I know a lot of it is self, applied,
Yeah.
but it's unfortunate because you don't want to see that. You don't want to see legends
No, of
like
course
these
not.
dudes. We
No,
grew up to
but-
them. You don't want to see them in those
Exactly.
situations.
But like I was saying with Paul Heyman, look, the reason like WWE, the Attitude Era was a complete carbon copy of what Paul Heyman was doing in
It took a
ECW.
lot
It's
from it.
just-
It took a
it-
lot,
it's
no
just-
question.
Sure.
It's just that they had a higher budget than ECW, so they were able to do it on a grander scale.
I would also offer they had better names, and what I mean
Yes.
by that is that they
Yeah.
had
Yeah.
people who helped mold wrestling to what it is.
Yeah.
So you
Where-
could-
where-
talent, more money,
you may have
and
exactly and better storylines too. I'm gonna be honest.
better writing,
Yeah,
for
no,
sure.
Yeah, they had better
absolutely.
writers and all of
Yeah.
that. So
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But
I
but the thing is
when you have
like you can't
VHS tapes you're
compare.
selling, and the budget from ECW compared to
You-
WWE,
Yeah.
just never.
You can't compare a
True.
talent like The Rock or
Stone
Triple H
Cold
to
or
Mikey
Triple H.
Whipwreck. You know what I'm saying?
exactly.
Like,
Or the
like,
Blue
like,
Meanie,
like,
or right,
and-
yeah.
yeah, or even Just Incredible. Like, look,
Oh my
he-
God,
True.
just incredible.
I remember
like-
just incredible.
those
Yeah.
those guys are not gonna carry a company.
They're
That's
not
like saying, hey
compare-
man,
yeah.
can you afford AB Care? Oh no, you get Bungie.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect analogy.
Yeah, they're the Bungie of wrestling is what you're trying to tell us.
No, their budget is their budget is.
Yeah, yeah. But listen, that aside, shout out to Paul Heyman, and he deserved to be in the Hall of Fame long ago. So
For
Yeah.
sure.
Absolutely.
this is just long overdue. Much love to him. The
Wait,
dude is a
Umbra.
treasure. What's up?
So
you
yes,
gonna say?
Paul Heyman was supposed to be in the Hall of Fame long ago. They asked him years ago. He told them no because he
Really?
he basically said I want to be inducted when I'm at the end of my career. But he said,
Hmm.
but so when they asked him again, it was like no. But I guess this time he changed his mind.
Well, it was in Philadelphia, home of ECW. So I think that all
Right.
the stars aligned.
And also
makes
maybe
sense.
He's retiring soon.
And
you
also
think
they.
so?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Daniel.
No, well, I think he's retiring soon because actually there's a lot of like bigger names in WWE who have been saying that they want to retire soon. And I wouldn't be surprised if Paul Heyman is in that list, but like AJ Styles apparently wants to retire soon. Cody Rhodes
he
just
was retired.
re-signed. Yeah.
No, you thought he
Uh,
was in the grave.
You
That's
thought
the
he was
difference.
dead.
No, I thought
Cody-
the guy was somewhere collecting checks.
Yeah. Well,
You thought he was
both
retired to
Cody-
heaven.
Both Cody and Roman have said that they want to retire in the next couple of years too.
Really?
Yeah, well, because Cody.
Well, I
just
can
signed a
get
new deal
Roman,
that's
I
like
guess.
4 years. Well,
Yeah.
Roman has leukemia, so
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see his for sure.
And he's
You
You
Uh,
can
been
see
on
it.
Cody
To me, it sounds funny to say. I hope it doesn't sound funny, but you can kind of see it in his face too. His face got
he's
more
getting a little
gaunt. Yeah, I
But hey,
noticed
guys,
it.
let me
Yeah.
say this: how is it that
I
The
watched
Rock
that documentary
and
on
Roman
it.
Reigns look so good in shape, and then this guy, freaking Cody Rhodes, and the other guy that I
These
called,
guys look like a 40-90, and,
That-
and these guys were like a serious
Dude,
S in the ring.
I was calling Seth Rollins the J Balvin of the WWE with all those outfits. Man.
It's funny
I mean, they're
because
just larger than life, man.
You know what
I mean,
it
the-
is?
The Rock and
Cody
That dude
next
like
to
he's a
somebody
hamburger.
else, he might look. He's in
Well,
shape.
he looks
clearly.
like Homelander.
He does look like Homeland. I love the new hairstyle with him, by the way. I think it works for him. But if you look at him next to a normal person, he looks gigantic because he is.
Who, Seth
but it-
Rollins?
No, Cody. But if you put him,
Oh,
even
Talking about
Seth,
Seth Rollins, man.
but when you
I
put
was like,
them,
are you even an
No,
athlete,
both-
dude? You look like you're the hot dog stand, dude.
Yeah, those dudes are tall as hell.
No,
no,
like,
I'm
like,
saying,
Big dudes.
I'm saying even just stature wise, they're tall. Like Yoby was saying, they're tall, they're statuesque in a way. Now Cody is in
Yeah.
better shape than Seth, I would say, but they're still. If you put them next to a normal person, they're like, oh, these dudes are
Man,
big.
Seth,
But when-
oh no,
Yeah,
Seth, yeah,
But
Seth.
when
What
you
it
put
looked
them
like
next
to
to The
me-
Rock and
Yeah.
Roman, then it's like, okay,
It-
wait a minute. These
what
dudes
it
look
looked
like
like to me-
children.
Yeah, they
Like,
look like Mary
imagine-
Jane next to The Rock.
Imagine like
Yeah.
back in the day. Think about it like back in the day, since you guys are like more old school. Think about Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels were in the ring with Hulk Hogan and the
Mhm.
Ultimate Warrior. Just the
Yeah,
size difference.
that's a fair difference. Yeah.
You know?
Now and
True.
Brett would actually had
Well, in that
size
case,
on
it
him
was,
too.
Yo,
Yeah,
Bret
he
In
did.
that case,
Him and Hart was
that
the
size
best,
difference
man.
was induced by steroids. But yes,
Now I
I'm thinking
now here
that McMahon juice. Pause.
now here
The
here's
McMahon
here's
shoes.
Now, here's
Oh.
a prediction that I'll make, right? Because I can see this coming from a mile away. I guarantee you guys that as soon as John Moxley, aka Dean Ambrose, contract is up in
Mhm.
AEW, I guarantee you he's
So
gonna
he's
end
going
up
back
going
to
back
WWE.
to WWE.
oh no,
Yeah.
not a chance.
Guarantee you.
He is.
I
He is.
think he
No.
is, because I think that
You
I
can
think
say
that
no, you
his
won't, it's gonna happen.
I think that his stock has risen so much that and he knows that Triple H now is in charge, which
Mhm.
he's a Triple H guy.
Makes
I can
sense.
see that happening, and then finally we're gonna get the match that we've all deserved, which is the Shield triple threat at WrestleMania. That needs to happen.
Oh,
I feel like at this point though, Roman has ascended well past that. I
He's
think
gonna be
Seth
retired before
Yeah,
Moxley's
he-
title is up. Like
he'll probably be done by that point. But even beyond that, I think just storyline wise, I think he's just evolved. Seth plays into that because Seth betrayed him when he turned against. That played into this will. So it's a form of that long storytelling, like story. Now clearly they probably said, oh, and then we could put him in this because it is like clearly right, but it works. I don't think Dean Ambrose really works into that with them anymore. I think Roman is just beyond that. Now,
We'll see.
maybe it's possible. I don't know, but I can see him returning just because you look at CM Punk, and he clearly was like, "I'm never coming back," and Triple H managed to get that to work. So
Yeah.
AEW is
Well,
in
yeah.
turmoil right now.
Mhm.
They're in turmoil. The company is, and what I mean by that is that I think that a lot like Tony Khan has actually
and the Young Bucks are fucking idiots. All of them.
they've turned the place
They're
into a
fucking
circus,
idiots,
and the problem is that now like they've turned like Tony Khan has literally turned into Vince McMahon. He doesn't want to listen to like the rumors are. He doesn't want to listen
He's not
to
a boss,
criticism.
he's a fucking child with money. That's what he is.
yeah.
And-
Well, so CM Punk. CM Punk is like the least mature person on the planet.
Yeah,
that
that is
dude's a
true.
complete moron.
That is true.
Like this whole thing recently where Tony Khan, not even the Young Bucks, Tony Khan was like, we're gonna show this footage from the CCTV thing. It made everyone in
fucking
that
months ago.
situation look like shit. Like
Yeah.
CM Punk looks like a
fucking months
fucking
ago.
moron. Tony
was
Khan looks like an
trending.
idiot.
He was trending today.
Ironically, the only person who comes out of this clean is Jack Perry because he didn't really do anything.
yeah, he got
No,
he just got manhandled.
he
That's
didn't
really
come
it.
But
out
I
like
think-
that.
but I
He
think
looks like a
CM Punk-
fucking pussy.
I
He
think
did look
CM
like-
Punk.
he
No,
did
I,
look like-
I think
he
not
came off
beating up
looking-
your coworker is not the
But
same thing as
hold on,
looking weak.
hold on, Daniel. But the thing is that
Yeah,
you want to know
well.
why CM Punk came
CM
out
Punk
came
looking
out
good
clean here?
because what
No,
because
because he
he's-
didn't.
because-
He did an
No,
assault. He didn't.
No,
come out
hold on,
clean.
hold on. Because, but guess what? Guess what? Everything that he said on the Ariel Hawani show when
He
he,
told
when,
the
he when they
truth.
talked about,
Yeah.
he told everything the truth.
He sure
said
did.
Yeah,
exactly
so did
what happened.
everyone else. No one ever lied about the events that happened.
Well,
the only difference
Tony
is
Khan
CM
said he
Punk
felt for
pretended-
his life and all that.
Yeah.
Like,
well, Tony
Yeah.
Khan's kind of weak, so maybe he really did. I don't know. But the only thing different between CM Punk's side of the story and Jack Perry's side of the story was that CM Punk didn't think he did anything wrong when he clearly did.
No,
Like-
you're not that. There's no argument there. I think that both
no
sides should have amended. But the bottom line is this. Look, I think
Tony
CM
Khan
Punk
could've
was
stopped all
looking.
that shit.
Yeah, he could have. Number one, he should have. And secondly, CM Punk, he just wanted any excuse to quit, and that was his
He
opportunity.
could have just quit. He didn't have to beat up a kid half his age.
Oh no,
Like
but
he
the
could have
thing
just
is-
left. Like he's CM
Yeah,
Punk.
but-
He
To be
could've-
fair-
he could have just
But
left.
he got disrespected.
To be
though.
fair, he
You see
didn't
what I'm
quite
saying?
He
beat him
deserved the
up, but
disrespect.
I'll say this: he didn't quite beat him up. He roughed him up a little bit. He manhandled him, put him in a chokehold.
Yeah.
All that
He
shit
he
falls
did
on
enough
Tony
that
Khan.
you're that
In
in
the
any
day.
job you would get fired for.
True.
Yeah, but
that is
it's-
true. I will give you that.
I don't disagree, but the thing is, look, and again, I
You
look,
fried
Daniel,
this man,
you're
fried
not
this man because he did what you want, what you didn't want to do.
Daniel,
Simple as that.
you're not wrong in your way of thinking. You're thinking like a logical, calm person. But
100%.
I'm not like that. I'm the Hulk.
Okay.
So if you're gonna go after me and you're gonna publicly try to humiliate me, now it's on. So if you want to throw the rock, you better believe I'm gonna respond to you.
So
You see what
listen,
I'm saying?
Well,
So-
then you're
that-
gonna get fired from your job, which is
That's
what
it.
happened to CM
Well,
Punk.
So
absolutely,
listen,
absolutely.
so
I'm gonna fix it.
that
I'm
that
gonna fix it.
aside with this whole situation between them, he now John brings up a good segue for me. He said, if you're gonna throw the rock, moving back into the main event for WrestleMania, then we'll move to the final because we're behind, well behind. I'll have to keep it to just this WrestleMania and Fallout, I think.
All right.
And Fallout might not even get
We'll
the
cut
love it
Star Wars.
deserves. So yeah, we got to cut Star Wars.
We can move
Cody
on.
Rhodes and Roman Reigns. What a match right there.
It was
I
a really
don't-
good match.
I don't know if I would say it was the best ever because some people were like, it was
It
the
wasn't.
best ever.
No,
It wasn't the
it was
best
very
ever.
good.
No, it wasn't
No,
the best.
hell no.
ever.
It was very
Bret Hart
good.
versus Shawn Michaels was the best WrestleMania match of all time.
Yeah,
One of the
I
best.
I
I
have
think.
very few complaints with the match, and they're not even like deal breakers or anything. And honestly, me and you, we already talked about this like 2 weeks ago or something.
Yeah.
But I don't like that Roman didn't feel as important as The Rock in his own ending
That's
of his
true.
historic
I agree.
reign. I think
I
that's
agree.
a weird choice.
Yeah.
Yep.
I really don't like that. While I appreciated the story that was being told with the run-ins, I think 7 run-ins in one match is a bit much. I think even if you had just done it where they all ran in at the same time instead of like, here's this guy, and then a couple minutes later, here's this guy, and then here's like, if you
I
had
mean,
just
it was
done
bloodline
it
rules.
together, maybe it would have been less weird. But it was just a bit much for me. Especially since, like, I mean, I love the Undertaker, but he's retired 17 times, and clearly his spot was supposed to be given to Stone Cold.
Yeah.
What happened
because
there?
that wasn't even
What
Taker.
happened
That
there?
wasn't even Taker. That
Because-
was Mark. He showed up in his
Find out what
podcast
happened.
merch.
Let me tell you something though. Let me tell you something though.
Yeah.
For whatever, let me talk to him. For
Let me
whatever
talk to him.
happened-
Yeah.
For whatever happened with Stone Cold, that deal didn't work out. What happened? Because that was Stone Cold's spot. Clearly, that was Stone Cold's
It was
spot.
100% supposed to be that. Yeah.
I'll say
it was-
this. It made no sense whatsoever. Not even for Undertaker really to be there, but it would have made even less sense.
No,
Or Stone
it
Cold to
made
be
sense
there.
for The Rock
No,
because it made
when you think about the
sense- Stone Cold got
history,
history with The Rock.
Yeah,
Stone
but
Cold
they,
went-
but,
they
but
main
we.
evented
The problem
three.
is this.
They main
They
evented
did,
3
but
WrestleManias.
think about it story wise. They haven't had heat like that in decades. And
The
clearly,
Rock
we've seen them
wrestled
talk to
so
each
many
other. We
hits,
hear the
Stone Cold
love they
Steve
talk
Austin.
about all the
That's
time
why it
now. I get it, but that only plays into the key phase part of it. And in actual, when you actually look at it in reality, like there was no connection whatsoever to tie him
I
into
completely disagree with you, Umbra.
No,
I think that
Umbra,
The
hell no.
Undertaker, while it was still good because it's The Undertaker, I think that was completely out of place.
Both of them were
No,
out of
no, no,
place.
no,
That's
no,
what I'm
no,
saying.
no,
Like
Undertaker
neither
was
one
not
would
good
fit.
because
Un-
Undertaker lost to Roman Reigns at a WrestleMania.
Not even that though. It fits in for
That makes-
Undertaker
okay,
for.
Yoby,
I'll say this: it fits
I'll
for
see
Undertaker
that.
for one reason and one reason alone. We've all known Undertaker to be the boss behind the scenes in the locker room. To me,
Yeah.
this kind of
He
seemed
was
like
one of
a,
the good ones, actually.
and he was,
Yeah.
and it seems like a check in for him to kind of check the Rock back into being, back into place because he's the final
I'll buy
boss.
that too.
So
I'll
that
buy
fits
that.
in a little bit to me. Stone
I'll
Cold
buy
now
that.
as big as the pop it would have been, and it would
He
have
has
been
a big
insane.
history with The Rock.
He does have a history, and I get like the inner
That's
wrestler
like-
fan in me definitely wanted Stone Cold, but in
Stone
looking
Cold
at
Rock
the
is, like, the
storyline,
most
it made
famous
no
rivalry.
sense. It is.
I'll buy
time.
I'll buy what you guys are saying. You guys have kind of changed my mind a little bit about it, made me feel better about it, but I am still convinced that was Stone Cold's spot and it just didn't work out.
I'm sure it was. I'm sure it
It felt
was.
like they were teasing it too. Like there were a bunch of little hints that they were gonna do.
Yeah.
Also,
Yeah,
the
they
fact
teased
that
the
that
Stone
Roman
Cold
held the
and
title
John
for 1,316 days. Like, come on.
Oh, good point. I didn't think about that.
Like,
But by the way, to challenge you, your Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels main
Best
event,
main event of all
I'll
time.
raise you Shawn Michaels and Undertaker at WrestleMania 26.
That
That
was
was
really
that
good.
was pretty good.
Legendary.
How about you, MJ Dark? When's the last? Well, because I know you haven't watched for a while. What was your favorite WrestleMania main event of all time? Because I haven't heard you say something in a bit.
You got a lot, man. You got a lot. I mean, Rock and Stone Cold is always a good one. It's a lot. And MJ, what, you still there? Because I know he has to get going.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm still here.
What would you say is your best all-time favorite WrestleMania main event of all time?
That
What
you
up,
watched.
Sentinel? What's up, Sergeant Sentinel?
Main event. Oh man, there's been so many, but let me see. I would have to go freaking Undertaker and Ultimate Warrior.
No, that never
Ooh.
happened. No,
You
no,
thinking
no, that
of,
never.
What?
I think
Am
he's
I thinking-
thinking of like one
Hulk
of the
Hogan and
other-
Ultimate Warrior.
You're probably thinking
Yeah.
that, or he's maybe thinking of another event. Did they have a go at another event, Undertaker and
I think no.
Ultimate-
I think that they didn't get like a. I don't think that they got a huge program together. But did you mean WrestleMania 6 with the Ultimate Warrior versus Hulk Hogan? That they had like a face off because that was
Yeah.
huge.
It would be a really tight window because Ultimate Warrior didn't wrestle for that long because his body was exploding from all the
True.
steroids. So he didn't wrestle very long, and I think that he at one point he left and was replaced by a different guy who just dressed exactly the same. I don't know if you remember that.
The Renegade.
Something like that. Yeah.
The Warrior and Taker did fight, but it was in a casket match.
Gotcha.
but that wasn't.
Yeah,
a
that's right.
WrestleMania.
It wasn't at
No,
WrestleMania.
it wasn't at WrestleMania, no.
But you know what?
Also, I
To
think-
your credit though, a lot of the wrestling back then, especially during the Attitude Era, all felt like main events. The Raws and the Smackdowns.
Yes.
But so I think maybe it was probably conflicting with that. To be fair, that was a bit before the Attitude, but still, I kind of get it. But yeah, to transition to back to the main, so we can move on. Now a lot of people are championing this as the greatest. Now I get it for a different generation. It probably is. Like a lot of them don't know
Yeah.
the-
Well, it's definitely the best in a long time. Like I said,
It is,
the
yeah.
last like 10 years of WWE have been rough.
Yeah.
There's been good stuff in there,
Yeah.
but overall it's been rough.
The
Yep.
ending
So-
of 30 with Daniel Bryan. I know you're not a fan, Umbra, but that
Mhm.
a lot of people were excited, man, when Daniel Bryan won the championship.
I
A
mean, I
lot
know
of
they were. A lot of
people
people
were excited.
loved him and were excited for him. He just didn't do it for me, man. He really
No,
didn't.
right. No, I got you. But the thing is that I think that was a pretty big WrestleMania moment, and also in
Mhm.
that WrestleMania, the Undertaker got his streak broken. So
Which
I
was
mean that
terrible.
WrestleMania 30 was pretty big.
Terrible though. That they should never have broken his streak. It should have just ended.
I agree.
But that
You know what's
aside,
another one? The
What's that?
Hardy Boys versus the Dudley Boys.
oh, legendary.
Oh,
Legendary.
yes.
You talking about Edge? I think you're talking about the ladder match with Edge.
Yep. I was
and-
like
and
WrestleMania
Christian and
17,
them.
I think it was.
Yeah, one of the greatest of all time.
Yeah,
That
It was
good.
three of them: Edge, Christian, Hardy Boys,
That was-
and Dudley's. Yeah, that,
That
was
was
legendary.
the first ladder match.
Yeah.
It was
that
the
was
first. It was the first. Well, they had ladder matches before that. Like I remember Shawn Michaels against who was that? They
It was
had
the
ladder
first time that
matches
it
in-
was a 6-man ladder match. Is what
yeah,
it was.
maybe that's what it was. Yeah, maybe that might have been the case because they had ladder matches.
And I
here
think
and
in this
there.
WrestleMania they had like 20 guys in the ring at one time. It was too many dudes in there in that ladder match, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Yeah,
like a Diddy party.
but listen, that aside, I think this storyline paid off dividends for WWE. I mean, we know it did because it was one of the most watched WrestleManias. I think it's probably the highest grossing they said overall because of the two nights and things of that nature.
Yeah. And
Uh,
the super duper bright LED Wingstop ad.
Absolutely.
Yo, that shit blinded
As-
me.
What do you guys think of? What do you guys think of the new TKO era of all the ads during the matches? Does it kind of distract you guys?
It's a
It
slightly,
does, but I'll
slightly.
get over it.
Yeah, I'll
The
get
one
over
The
that.
one that gets me is the Prime bottle in the middle of the ring.
That one I didn't
because,
like. Yeah.
because
The
like
dude
some
wipes.
people, the dude wipes are dumb too.
Can,
But no,
can we
the
talk
Prime
about
bottle-
Snoop Dogg? How he sounded lost in
Dude,
that
I
match?
like-
Snoop Dogg.
I'm all for
I'm
it.
down for that.
I mean,
Yes,
I got
bring
like-
Snoop
Wait a
anytime.
minute. Wait a minute. We cannot let Lil Wayne get a pass for
Oh
that
my God,
no
no.
show
It
that he
was
did.
awful, dude.
Oh my dude.
He was terrible. I don't know what
was that?
even brought him
and
out
they
there.
announced him as the greatest in the world, and he didn't even rap.
He was awful. He was so bad. He was
Yeah.
bad, and the what was it? Motionless in White, the Rhea Ripley band. They were also pretty bad. They weren't the worst, but they were pretty bad.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
but they
didn't like
actually
any of
played their
that.
song.
I thought it was,
Yeah, that's
dude,
true.
I thought it was Marilyn Manson at one point.
He did. He did kind of look like Marilyn Manson a little bit. He did.
I thought it was a ghost. I was
Little Wayne was
scared.
horrible, man. He was horrible. He
He
came
all
out there.
lanky
He
and
literally,
tall. It looked
he
very
literally
weird.
threw like a sentence, and he was done. And he's like, "Yeah, where's my pay?"
It was
my
yeah,
God.
it was,
Get
it was
outta
pretty
here, dude.
awkward. I agree. That aside,
He was
the,
at a
the
Packer
heat,
game.
the heat that The Rock, and I got to give much love to my boy Rock, man, to Dwayne Johnson. The heat that he brought to this main event, it did. Now, to be fair to you, like Danny pointed out, he did push Roman out of the spotlight. He pushed Cody out of the spot. It was really about The Rock. Let's just be clear.
It was.
The
Yeah,
Rock,
yeah.
and it showed a stark difference, I think, in star power too. I'm just gonna be honest, and that's kind of what I worry about going forward with Cody as champion. He just doesn't have that
Charisma.
that je ne sais quoi as Roman Reigns had. And I'm as honest as I can put that, or The Rock. They both compel in comparison to him. But Roman is a killer on the mic nowadays too. He was like to go from where he used to be, because I remember him getting destroyed by
He
John
was
Cena.
ass on the mic.
He was. Now he's
John
from
Cena.
ass to pass, because now he's
Yes, sir.
really good on it.
Question:
It's
was
all
Cody
about the
Rhodes like an
stories.
actor?
What's that now?
Well,
What?
what was that?
Was Cody Rhodes do any acting before? Because I know he was saying, "Oh, acting school" or something like that.
I don't know.
No,
he
Dusty
did.
took him. Dusty
Oh, he
took him
did?
to
He
to,
did.
to
He was
acting
in.
school.
He was in the CW Arrow show. He played like
Horrible.
Really?
played a video game who couldn't, or he played a villain who couldn't feel pain or something.
Yeah, it was so
So
dumb.
no
Yeah.
wonder I recognized him from
That's-
somewhere. I was like, I've seen this
Ah.
guy before.
That's why Stephen Amell was in Bullet Club, because they became friends on that
Yeah.
show.
Now,
Okay.
now, Umbra, to tell you what's gonna carry them forward is the storyline. What's because what was carrying them for the last 2 years with Cody was that he was after the title, right? So now that he's the champion, what story are they gonna give him that's going to entice people to keep on watching?
You know what
who-
what were you saying,
know.
Yobi? Go ahead. What do you think they could do?
got a feeling. So it could be two scenarios. It's gonna be two. I feel it's gonna be two scenarios.
I got one in my head that I think they could and should do, but I want to hear
what's
yours.
his name? What's his name? Jacob Fatu just got signed.
Oh man, cannot wait.
And
I don't think they're
Tonga-
gonna shoot him straight
Wait,
into
wait,
the
wait,
main
wait,
event,
wait,
for
wait,
sure.
wait. I didn't say that. I didn't say that. And Tomatonga Haku's son, he just got signed as well.
Mm-hmm.
And supposedly some more of the Uso brothers got signed as well. Supposedly I'm not showing that one.
Yeah.
But I got a feeling they're gonna do whenever Roman comes back. I think they're either gonna do Bloodline versus Bloodline,
Right.
or
the Rock's faction versus Romans. You're saying?
Yeah,
Yes.
they're definitely
Or-
doing Roman Rock
or-
next Mania.
You want or
I'm all
what?
for it.
Or I think this is gonna be AJ Styles' last. I think next year is probably gonna be his last year. He's probably
Nah,
hanging
look.
out.
This is-
Wait. Let me finish.
Polly?
I believe.
Let me talk to him. Let me talk to
Let me
him.
talk to you. I feel like it might be Cody Rhodes version of the not Cody Rhodes but AJ Styles version of the Bullet Club, because now you
Yeah.
got Tomatonga. He was in the Bullet Club. Sorry, Tomatonga, Cody Rhodes, AJ Styles, and what's the tag team?
Gallows and Anderson, but they're
Gallows
awful
and
though.
Anderson.
This is what I think they need to do. And if I was in Triple H's ear, this is what I would tell him.
Hmm.
Look, you need to solidify Cody. And how you solidify him is you have him go against Roman Reigns next Backlash, and you make him beat him clean.
Nah,
100%.
Either SummerSlam or Survivor Series.
That's a fair
No.
point.
No.
Yeah, whatever
No, no, no.
event it,
Right
wherever
now,
event it is,
Backlash.
I think
Big Four.
whatever
It
event
won't be
doesn't really
Backlash, 'cause
matter.
Backlash is in
Survivor
France.
Series, bro.
It's in
Well,
France.
whatever the next event is, if they really, in my opinion, want to solidify Cody,
When is
you
the next
have him
event
go-
though?
It's
I think
Backlash.
it's Backlash in
Backlash.
May. In May,
Okay.
you have Roman come out on Friday, say I got cheated, all this crap happened to me, I want my rematch.
I don't want him to
my
say
rematch
that.
clause.
I don't want him to do
Well-
that. Nah,
Well,
not when he's
what-
using
however
cheating
they
tactics
want
all
to
the
do 'em.
time.
However,
Every
listen, however they want to
championship
do him.
He cheated to win. I don't want to hear that.
But
Yeah.
however, listen, he's a heel, so he's gonna make excuses. So
Yeah, but he
whatever
can't
it is-
whine though. You don't want him to
He
whine.
comes sounding like a bitch.
But he's a heel.
See,
and
like
that's
you
what they
can,
do.
yeah, but they don't really do that. Like, look at Triple H. Triple H all the time would lose, but he didn't. You did this to me. No, Triple H was a man about
not
his.
like not like that, but whatever. The message being, hey, I got cheated. I want my rematch, like next at
the
Backlash.
cheated, the
And
cheated
you have
angle, I
him-
just disagree with. But other
But
than
he
that, have
did.
them
He did
rematch.
get
you're
cheated.
saying. He did
But-
get
but-
cheated. He had people knocking Cody left and right up in that match.
Here's the thing. Remember, in order for him to be a heel, In order for him to be, remember how many people. This is why the storylines are so important. Remember how many people Roman has cheated to keep the championship, and now he's crying that he got cheated.
That's why I said it'd be terrible if they did that angle, because it'll make him come off as a crybaby. You don't want that.
You want that. But you want that because
it's character
I'm gonna
destruction.
tell you, but I'm no, it's not. What you do is that remember right now the stock needs to be put on Cody. So the more stock that they put
but not
in
by
Cody,
destroying Roman though. I think you can get to what you're talking about without having make him a bitch. That's what I'm saying. Like you don't want him to be like, but you cheated me. Like you don't want that. Roman is a man. He's a man's man too. Like you don't want him to suddenly start whining.
With Umbra on that one.
Look, The Rock used to cry all the time, and that didn't hurt him.
Not like that. Rock wouldn't cry.
Dude, The Rock would
not like
cry
that.
all
He didn't say
the
you
time.
cheated me. Rock would come out there saying,
"Dude, are you crazy? Do you not remember him coming out after losing to Mankind?"
But that's when he was. What's that? Go ahead. Say what you was gonna say.
Yeah,
he came out and said Mankind. What?
Look, he just needs to look.
I want you to elaborate on that because I remember that very well. I want to hear you gonna say.
He used to.
What did he say to Mankind?
He used to come out and he used to be like, if it wasn't for Stone Cold hitting me with a steel chair, this gorilla, gorilla came in the ring and he shitted Mankind out. He wouldn't have beaten me. What? Like he used to say a bunch of like.
No,
like,
but The Rock didn't whine though. He would talk trash and say, for instance, and then that was actually the truth because Stone Cold did come and hit him with a chair and it cost him the match. But he wasn't like he was like, I was cheated. You didn't. Like he didn't do that.
I get what you mean. Like I said, whatever it is that they're gonna do, fine. He doesn't need to whine. But the bottom line is that for me, for the fans really to buy into Cody that he's legit, I think he needs to beat Roman again.
I can agree with that. That I can agree with. I wouldn't say necessarily the next pay-per-view. It has to get. I think you have to give Roman some time off.
Maybe it's a SummerSlam.
Yeah. Well, we already know for a fact that whatever the next thing that Cody's doing is not going to involve either Roman or The Rock because Roman's gone on. He's out. Like not retired, but like he's taking a long break, and then The Rock is going to be gone for like 4 months filming that A24 movie. So he's going to be gone for a minute.
He did say he'd be leaving. Yep.
Yeah, so I think the next couple of things that they do with him will probably be a bunch of like throwaway things. Like it'll be small little feuds with.
That's gonna kill him. That's gonna kill his momentum, in my opinion.
I don't know.
Okay.
Well, I think a problem that WWE has right now is that they don't have a lot of like top guys. Like there is nobody else on that roster that I feel convincingly right now could beat Cody other than The Rock or Roman, and they're both gone.
Agree. That's the problem they have.
So they need to build some. This is not a problem of like making Cody look strong right now. The problem that they need to solve is they need to build somebody else up to be a credible threat to Cody.
100% agreed.
His only threat right now, even though he's dealing with the lawsuit shit, is Brock Lesnar.
Brock Lesnar, true, but Brock Lesnar.
I love Brock,
last
but
time we saw.
Not only that, and he earned his respect and all of that. So you don't want him to be like, I'm fighting you again now. Also, too, it's like you said, the scandal. Then it's also that Brock is not really there. He is like a part-timer.
He's too busy shitting on people's heads, man.
I mean, how many times did Brock fight Roman Reigns through the years? So
but you don't want to go back to that well, especially when he's not a full-timer anymore. Like his time is over as far as that goes.
His name still a draw though.
No question. He still draws, but then it goes to the question of what do you do for the future? That's the problem. You don't want to have him there. It's like, oh, he's the main challenger now, but what about the other people that need to be built up still? That problem still remains.
Right.
And I think you've got a couple options for that. Like I do think that you could build someone like you could build like a Drew or a Seth into that position. They're not there right now, but they could get there.
You guys are forgetting Gunther.
Gunther just lost to Sammy. Like, you could build a Bobby into that position, a Bobby Lashley maybe. I don't think he could win, but he could, have a good match.
You're right, Daniel. But Gunther, I believe he's done with the Intercontinental shit. They're gonna throw him into the World Championship territory.
If they throw him at one, it'll be Damien's.
Definitely.
Makes more sense with Damien. I can see that too. I mean, it's possible. Yeah, I don't know. My thing with Cody is this. What I think will be very smart is that because a lot of people were, I don't know if you all saw this. I forgot the guy's name, but he was like, "You guys are going to turn against Cody. Give it time because he's not Roman Reigns. Give it about however many months."
That's the problem. That's why they need to. That's why I feel like they need to solidify him. I think
they need to solidify him too. But it comes back to this: the face super face champions only last as far as how charismatic they are. I think John Cena was the last one who was super charismatic that could hold on to that title like that. Cody, as much as I like him, he does not have that John Cena strand.
Yeah.
Umbra, you're right. What's his name? Dijak said that.
It was okay. There you go. And
Yeah,
so my
Dijak said that.
my thinking is they can make Cody much. Think about the Rock situation. Remember how he was. What was it? Rocky Maivia. I don't want to go. I know he was one before that, but he was all happy, and even I didn't like him at that point.
No,
And
Rocky
people-
Video was bad.
Yeah, Rocky die, and they booed him, and yeah. Then he went to the Nation of Domination, grew out the pork chop sideburns, started talking trash to the audience. I feel like Cody needs to go back to a villain arc, and I feel like he needs to be turned by the fans into that.
Let me talk to him.
I don't know, because we just had a heel champion for the last like 3
We
years.
did, but imagine this: Cody starts out really good. His intentions are to be this people's champion, so to speak, and then the audience turns against him. Now, if they do, they might not, but let's say they do. If they do, they should play into that and have him talk on it to the audience, like, wait a minute, what's wrong? Like, blah blah blah. Why am I not good enough? Well, what's the problem? Et cetera, et cetera. I'm not Roman.
As long as they give him challenges to overcome, he's the type of character that you see him as a Luke Skywalker. Like you
I
root
can
for
see
him
that
because
angle.
He's an underdog and he's like a Luke Skywalker.
Are you saying that because Star Wars is on the screen? Is that why you said that?
No. But the thing is that that's the idea. The
Gotcha.
idea is that you need to keep on giving him hurdles to overcome. Like now that he's won the championship, if they don't have anything else for him to do, and you just okay, dude, you just became the champion, and all you're gonna do is come out every week smiling and not have anything else to conquer.
Yeah.
People are not gonna like that.
He definitely
I
has to
don't
conquer
disagree.
some things. Yeah.
I think that's the problem. I think his title reign will be fine. Like, I don't think it can live up to Roman's. That it's been legendary. It's been 3 years long. It's not
I don't
gonna be
think so
that.
either. No.
But I think it'll be good. But you're right in that his whole thing. I'll tell you exactly what it's going to be. It's not going to excite you, but this is exactly. It's going to be. He's going to be the fighting champion. He's going to do the Seth Rollins thing. He's going to be fighting every week against like random people from the mid card. And then when it comes to a pay-per-view, he'll fight against somebody who's like on the higher mid card or like a Seth Rollins or a Drew McIntyre, level.
No,
person.
they got to
And
put some
he'll beat
stories
them
in here,
pretty
man.
heavily. They'll try, but I think that's going to be a minute before like this bloodline thing was built up for so long.
Yeah.
That, like we're not going to have another massive story for Cody to jump into by Survivor Series. It's like 6 months.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
There is one story that they can, but I don't think that they want to get here yet. But him and Randy Orton. If Randy Orton was to challenge him, there's history there. I think that he can be someone that they have history, and that kind of makes sense. But other than that,
Yeah.
I don't know.
see
But
that.
I'll tell you what, Umbra. I think that me and MJ Dark, I got the look from my wife. She's about to give me the people's elbow, so I think I'm gonna have to tap out already because it's 11.
We are 3 hours in now. We didn't even get a chance to get to to Fallout. This has been a WrestleMania show.
This is the WrestleMania show, guys.
Umbra.
So yeah.
You said we didn't get to Fallout. Let's just knock Fallout. Let's just go over it right quick. Let's just knock it out. Like 2 sentences and call it a day.
Okay, we can kind of do that. I don't know if you guys have the time though.
I have the
MJ
time.
and yeah.
I watched the first episode, so I can only chime in on the first episode.
Okay, I'll let you guys quickly get your bars off
Yeah.
then before you run off, and then we can kind of close it off at that.
Go ahead, Dark.
Yeah.
I think Fallout is fantastic. I watched the first 2 episodes. As someone who's played the games, I like a lot of the references that it has. When it comes to like looking at as it goes through, you're like, oh, I know what this is, and kind of taking parts from the different games. I think it has the feel of the dark humor that's in the series. And I also like the things that you sort of saw this in The Last of Us, right? Where they kind of give you the backstory to Dogmeat and kind of give you a little bit context where he came from. And you're seeing like, correct me if I'm wrong, but Volt 33 and kind of that Volt 32, I think at one point was mentioned in either Fallout 4, if I'm correct. So
it shouldn't have been Fallout 4 because Fallout 4 is in Boston. It's the,
So
the
it
other side
should
of
be
the
3, right?
nation. No, because 3 is all. It would have to be either New Vegas or 1 or
yeah,
2. Those would be the
one
only
of
ones
those,
that would be
yeah.
in the area.
So I like the set pieces. I like the Brotherhood of Steel. I like how that looks. I think overall you can see the budget and care that was put into this. But I guess my quick question, not to dwell on it, right? And I know we've been talking about Halo.
Mhm.
Do you think it's easier to make something like Fallout because of what Fallout can be versus trying to make Halo, which is about aliens and gods and all this other stuff?
I am not
I
sure.
don't.
I think it's the budget. For one, it's the budget. Two
But
is
let's just say they
it's,
had both the budgets.
they're both the
Do you
budgets.
think it's harder to make something like Halo versus, I mean, something that I think Fallout falls into something like The Last of Us, where you post-apocalyptic? We've had Mad Max, we have references.
I
Mhm.
think that
get
I
what you
think that
mean.
Fallout I think that Fallout is actually harder to make because in Fallout, like you've always been a generic character that you just create, and in Halo, I mean, you're literally it's a story of Master Chief that you can follow. So I
Yeah.
think
Chief
that
of the team,
But
yeah.
I would actually take the opposite end of that same argument. I think the fact that it's that I think when you're doing Halo the TV show and you're trying to follow the story of the game, people come into it with a lot harder expectations.
that's true. That's a good
So
point.
people are like, this is what I expect from Master Chief. This is what I expect from this character. People don't
Yeah.
have that with the Fallout show because none of these characters have been in anything before.
You're right. I
It just
changed my
needs to
mind.
be an
You're right.
interesting
You're right.
story in that world.
I
That's a
like
good
the,
point.
And I think
like
they're nailing that.
I like the nods, like when she got in front of the mirror to kind of show you, when you're kind of
Yeah, that
creating
was
your
a-
character. I like those
Yeah,
little
yeah, yeah.
subtle little Easter eggs they threw in there.
Mirror.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, overall, the first 2 episodes, I mean, I want to hopefully this weekend get some chance to finish it up. But I think it's fantastic.
I thought that honestly I didn't know what to expect going in. I've only played Fallout 3. That's the only one that I've played in the Fallout franchise.
Mhm.
I
played New Vegas.
No, I didn't. No, I did
Oh.
You've
not.
never played the originals like Brotherhood of Steel?
No, the only Fallout game I've ever played has been Fallout 3, and that was
Okay.
during the 360 generation. Obviously, they hyped it up during that E3 and all that, and I got really into it. But the thing is that one thing that caught me like right away from the show is that honestly I didn't think I was gonna like it. I was like, oh man, this is gonna be hokey. I don't know, man. But let me start watching this. From the beginning of the show, okay, they got the vibe 1000%.
1 million.
They got the vibe, so that drew me in. Then
What do you think about the
just-
characters? Who did you like? What would you take your takeaway for Lucy, for instance?
Lucy? What I really liked about Lucy, obviously, I mean, she is a cute, actress or whatever the case may be, but not even that. Like, it was just her like the way that she just approached just the situation that they put her in. I thought that was like a really strong character trait. I thought that
I
they
agree.
showed her off really well. I think that the other characters that they introduced in the first, the other 2 characters that they introduced in the first episode, I think that it got me really interested in finding out more about them. And then I want to say that one thing that caught me off guard was just how violent it was in that first episode. That's something that I was like, okay, I mean, I know that in Fallout 3 you had the VAT system, and then like people will blow up in chunks and stuff. I remember doing
I
that.
think they did a good job of kind of not showing you VATS, because I was like, okay, that'll be a little bit breaking, but to kind of emulate when it comes to
I
violence,
agree.
I
using
think
VATS.
so. I think so. That's why, like, you can
They also
the-
just to cut you off a bit. They also
you're
show the gore in there and the violence was very reminiscent of the games. Also, too, there's parts where I guess it's the second episode you didn't see it, but when they're shooting, it has a slow down effect and showing where the bullet travels,
Yeah.
much
So-
like with that.
Speaking of the second episode, one thing that brought back to me was the first time I played Fallout 3, and I remember kind of going to a supermarket and running into like a wolf or like some type of bear-looking thing, and I like that they had that.
Oh, the
at one
Yaguai.
point,
Yeah.
yeah, where that bear came out mutating, you're like, oh snap! So
Mhm.
I was like, all right, cool. It reminded me of what I loved about Fallout 3.
This is like 100%. Like, I felt like if Fallout 3 was on the screen, and they did a phenomenal job. That's really all I have to say, because I've only watched 1 episode. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, definitely. What did you cinematography wise and things like that? And to the question that MJD asked, like, I think I'm much in the camp of Danny here. Like to me, it'd be harder for Halo simply because of Master Chief being a known quantity. So they have to live up
You
to the
guys are
standard
right.
of him. Yeah.
I agree. I changed my mind on what I said. I think Danny hit the nail right on the head.
Also, visually too, is a lot to upkeep as far as the Covenant, constant CGI things. I get it.
I think my issue with Halo that I see the difference with here
Master
in
Cheeks, is that your issue?
yeah, well, it's the fact that
I'd be
they
okay
try to
if Google got his
shoehorn
butt out.
they try to shoehorn some love interest to
Mhm.
try to garner people that maybe don't watch the show, and I think that's where as us fans of Halo are like, nah, I just want it to be about the political drama between the Spartan program, Halsey, Oni, all the crazy stuff that's happened that we've either some of us read the novel, some of us played through the games and everything, versus he's walking in his uniform and I'm finding out that he loves nachos and all. I'm like, I don't want, I don't care about that.
Yeah, and we also
care
wanted the
where
whole
he-
religious angle with the Covenant.
Yeah.
We wanted to see all of that play out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Halo was
I
trying to do
agree.
way too much all at the same time.
I'm like,
Mhm.
yeah, you gave some like Latina representation, and I was like, I don't want to know about that. Whatever. They're there. And another thing that bothered me
I liked
about
Perez.
Halo
I thought she was a fun character.
was how they did Atriox. If you guys caught that,
In the show,
yeah, in Halo.
Season 1 or 2, because I haven't finished season 2.
In
finished
two,
season two, and
they
I
had
don't
like
know
a
what
they
you're
had like
talking
a
about.
and when he put his visor is like Atriox. I'm like, come on, please don't do Atriox like this. But anyway, back to Fallout. That's another conversation.
Yeah, I think that looking at the differences, the one thing that we can I think all agree, even though that you guys are only 2 episodes in. I think Yoby, I think you finished the whole thing, right?
What?
You watched everything, right? You watched every single episode already?
Are you talking about Fallout?
Yeah, Fallout.
No, I'm on episode 5.
Oh, I thought I understood that you watched.
I'm
it all,
on
but
episode
the-
6.
No.
Oh, okay. The one thing that I think we can all agree on, they completely nailed the theme of
Bro,
Fallout.
they nailed
The heart is there.
everything, bro. Everything, even the horror aspect. Ugh,
They did a
I
lot
was
well.
creeped out a little bit.
I know some
The
people
music.
complain about it's more that goes on
Everything,
longer that I
bro,
can't quite
everything.
reveal just yet because it's in further
Mm.
episodes.
Mm.
But
I'm not gonna reveal nothing, but they nailed
but-
everything, bro.
But for episode 1 and 2, like you guys said, they captured the feel of that universe so well. Special effects were out of this world. They did a really good job with that. A lot of practical effects here too that they used.
Yeah.
And I'm
The,
Yeah.
the robots, especially, I think they look
Yep,
so good. Like that Mr. Gutsy or whatever.
100%.
And one
So
thing
good.
they captured 100% was the action and the gore and
Mhm.
people getting shot and they limbs getting. Oh my god!
I'm
lot
excited.
of
I'm
it.
excited to keep
Yeah,
on.
bro.
Like I'm jonesing to watch that second episode. I really am.
So they start off when they show us a flashback to the Ghoul, which is Cooper Howard, played by Walton Goggins, the great
Yes.
actor.
That dude
Walton
plays so many
Goggins.
good roles, man.
He did. He
Yeah.
has.
That atomic bomb scene was awesome in that
It
beginning.
It was
I mean,
crazy.
that
Well,
was good.
atomic bombs because I think it was
It's-
4 of them.
it's-
that
Oh
we
yeah,
saw.
you're right. Yeah,
Yeah,
they
they
dropped the
love
it.
nukes.
That scene was very powerful when he's talking to his daughter and he says he's trying
The
to tell her about the thumb.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Is it my thumb?" And I was like, "Yo, it was
It's my
really
thumb.
well,
And
you
I
know."
was like, oh shit! And
How would you
it was
not notice
great.
that anyway? By the way, I
horrible.
think I'd have first
Horrible.
walked over like, okay, is that
Horrible.
a big cloud in the back? Like I would have known immediately. Like, okay, that's not good, especially in the world they live in, because this is set in, by the way, 20. I forgot what is it? 20 by the time it happens. 20 something, 22 something, or 2100 something. So, but by the time they actually fast forward to 219 years later, it is 2296. So they're well established. This is the last strain of the Fallout,
Right.
lore
Those
because
those
76
people deserve to get nuked because they're inside eating cake and like you don't hear that bomb that just went off. Like in
not
the
even
city right
that. The
behind
dude
you.
on the
No,
TV is saying it. Dude on the TV is like, I don't know how I can tell you
Yeah.
whether when I have bombs
And
dropped
the
on us.
mother- Yeah, and the mother came and changed the channel. Like, no, we're not gonna watch this. Watch something.
Right. It's like you all don't. They're willfully ignorant. And so 76
Sayonara.
is 2102. Fallout 1 is 2161. 2 is 2241. 3 is 2277. New Vegas is 2281. 4 is
Fallout
2287. and this show is set in 2296 after 219 years go by. So we start off with Cooper Howard, aka the Ghoul, and he's in hard times here now, having to do hit shows with the horse and all, and the rope tricks
He's a
at a party, and he is a badass. And then we go from there with the nukes going off, and then fast forward into the vault 33, and we meet Lucy McLean, played by Ella Purnell. By the way, she's gorgeous, I think.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
beautiful.
I thought it was kind of some good, well casted for one. I think it's well cast, but it's funny because Kyle McLaughlin, who plays her father Hank, he does look like he could be her father because of the eyeball thing. They both have those kind of buggy eyes a little bit.
Right.
And I thought that played him pretty well. She looks like they have similar chin lines too, the way their chins are shaped. I liked her a lot. I will say I liked her little quote that was okie dokie like that. I thought that was pretty cute. And she's lovable when she is courageous. I agree with you on that, John. Like she's thrust into this, but she doesn't shy away from taking on those challenges, right? She just
No,
like,
when the dude dropped his pants, she's like, all right, it's time.
let's do this. Right. Okie dokie. She's just, by the way,
Yoki,
speaking of that, by the way, now they had a bunch of Easter eggs here. I think I'm onto something. I think I found one. When they had that sex scene and she jumped on him and they did all that, they started playing the song, Keep That Coffee Hot. Keep that coffee hot.
Yes.
That was by Scatman Crothers, but Keep That Coffee Hot. Do you all remember a scandal in gaming called Hot Coffee?
Of course.
Yo,
Of course.
That's John Wolf's favorite game.
Now,
Now,
Absolutely.
San Andreas,
correlation.
I thought,
Coffee Mug.
personally, I feel that had to play into that. And if it's just a coincidence, then hey, it is what it is. But San Andreas, the hot coffee scandal, the sex scene, and then right there they having the sex and then playing to Keep That Coffee Hot.
You're right.
Personally, I feel like I caught an Easter egg that not a lot of people may have caught. I don't
think
know.
so. That makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah, I thought so, but yeah, we saw a lot of other Easter eggs. We saw Nuka-Cola. You saw Grognak the Barbarian, which is something you can get with like books in the game, skill points you'll get from it and stuff like that toward the Barbarian skill point. You saw Vault Boy later in episode 2. You saw, and actually you see more later on in the episode. It's crazy. I'm not going to say much more for now.
Yeah.
Obviously, too, they're set in L.A. You see the Santa Monica Pier and all of that destroyed in the background and things of that nature. It's also an advertisement. So you had a lot of good things here. You had Maximus. Did you all like Maximus?
I love
Yeah.
that.
I didn't at first, but he grew on me.
I like
Yeah.
Maximus.
Yeah, I think he unlocked a new nightmare for me.
What's
in
that?
Episode 1 with the razor blade boot.
Oh.
Yeah, that was pretty brutal.
Now I got a
not-
question
not
to you on
feeling-
that. Do you think
not
he
feeling-
did that, or you think one of the other guys did it? What do you think?
I think
no,
he
don't
did
think-
it.
He did
I don't
it.
think he did it.
I think he did it.
I'm torn, man. I'm not sure. I'm not.
snapped.
He's very duplicitous, right? He seems duplicitous a little bit.
I think
I
he did it
mean-
because remember, after that, his friend, that the only person talking to him,
Mhm.
was kind of got knighted and was like, "This is your knight name."
Yeah.
Came over and sort of mocked him, and I'm just like,
Mm.
"Hey, he probably did it."
He did show a little anger. Obviously, he started slamming that thing down and broke it off. That whatever that was.
What was that? That was like a toilet or something, right?
I'm
Yeah.
not even sure.
Yeah, he was. It was a porta john. He was cleaning porta johns.
Oh, that's what it was. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So-
I mean, you can see that Maximus has like this inner sort of like evil to him.
He does, right?
He wants to be great, and I guess he finally snapped after so much, crap that everyone's giving him.
Yeah.
And I think the guy from the Brotherhood of Steel sees it in him. That's why he asks him those questions. And when he asks him those questions, he's like, "Okay, very interesting."
I did notice that, and I did think, did he do that? Because they leave it ambiguous on purpose, and I think it's going to pay off later. But
Yeah.
for sure, he definitely also has a bit of a delusion of grandeur, if you've noticed, where
Yes,
he
he
kind of
does.
he has this thought like, well, yeah, we're here to clean up the wasteland and all that, and like he sees himself as this like shining knight of
and that's-
order.
And that's what the Brotherhood, instills in children. Like that's
Right.
That's always been
The
their
propaganda.
thing.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know. I think it's gonna turn out I think it's exactly what he said. I think that he's like, I thought about it, and I was happy that it happened, but I don't think he did it.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna get some other guy, or maybe they'll never tell us.
Or
Honestly, that's
I mean,
more
you might be
likely.
right. Somebody who's like, "Hey, I'm pretty sure if we do this, they're gonna blame it on him."
Mm-hmm. That's true.
And it so happened that nobody believed them, so it's sort of they took him. The people were like, "Yeah, we got him," but it didn't work out the same way. When he was kind of honest, it was like, "Okay, at least he's like he's not bullshitting us."
Well,
Right,
this
right.
is the last thing I'm gonna say because I gotta go, guys. But
Okay.
seriously speaking, the show, the production value, the cast that they selected, you can tell that if Todd Howard, which I'm sure he was involved in this,
He was
like
a producer.
they
No, they say he was
Got
Perfect.
Howard. Got Howard.
you can tell that he hand selected everything exactly according to how the universe should feel and everything. And yeah, man, that's pretty much all I got. But I gotta go now, guys. So
All right, brother. Hey,
Same here.
so could you give you got any things you want to share as far as like where people can find you,
Yeah.
etc.?
absolutely. First of all, I want to thank you, Umbra, for the invite, and Daniel as well. Thank you for letting me be on the show, man. It was great. Post WrestleMania wrap up, awesome. Yoby, always. First time podcasting with you, man, and it was a joy. MJ Dark.
brother.
I guess I'll say something nice about you. You know, you're pretty cool sometimes. Nah, just like MJ Dark, you know that we talk on the daily, man. And thank you so much, everybody. Pass by Mondays at 7 p.m. Eastern. Me and Kay Asante. I'm sure everybody in the chat knows who Kay Asante is. We do a show, The Gamers Playground, where oh, thank you. We try to tackle the podcast just to talk about like tech, gaming tech.
Love it.
It could be anything from PC handhelds to emulators to anything that we're playing to
love it, bro.
PCs and everything. And we you know we're on episode, we're about to hit the 30s, the upper 30s now. So it's been going really good. And
Nice.
one of my favorite shows always to be on is The Fix, Umbra. I think that you and Daniel do a fantastic job, man. I really do listen throughout the week, every single week. And chat, have a great week. Enjoy the rest of your week. And thank you so much, man, for giving me a guest spot today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, brother. I posed the question out to you guys, and you were like, "Yeah, I'm down." And I mean, because we're excited about this show and everything else in WrestleMania, obviously, but it was obviously always a good time when we come together to talk because we always enjoy each other's company, I believe, and all of us in general. I think we just
Absolutely. And
I
I'm
think
sorry
we all
for
just enjoy it.
bouncing.
No,
I'm
you
sorry for
good.
bouncing like the Undertaker right now, but the
It's
thing
almost
is,
4
we
hours,
got-
brother.
We
Yeah,
we
you
got to wake up early tomorrow, man, and I got to
Yeah.
call it a day. So
You
just
don't want
like
to be
the
on a white
Undertaker,
man like Jim Ryan.
oh no, for sure. Just like the Undertaker, the lights went out. I'm about to turn off the lights on you all right now. All right.
Turn off the lights. All right, brother. Thank you for coming
Peace out,
by.
guys. Thank
And
you.
and MJD, I know you have to get going as well, brother. Tell the good
Yeah.
folks where they can find you.
Well, guys, thank you so much. You know, I don't get a chance to podcast a lot, but thank you for inviting me. It was great to kind of be on the show with Daniel and, of course, Yoby and of course, the missionary gamer, John Wolf.
Pleasure, brother.
And, yeah, you know, you guys, if you guys want
That's
to
what he
check my
calls
channel,
himself, missionary, the non-missionary gamer. He calls
Yeah.
himself.
You guys can look me up on YouTube at MJ Dark or look up Handheld Masters. And you can check out my videos. As many of you guys see on my Twitter, you guys can find me big_n_boss. I love collecting PC handhelds. They're kind of a hobby for me, and I like testing multiple devices. So I'm sorry.
I said that's a fact. You have it all over your Twitter.
Yeah, so you know, I post there some of my videos to kind of show the different type of games. As you know, guys know, I love playing so many different types of games. So I put it there so you can go to people that are much smarter than me that know about these handles. But if you want to see true gameplay and how some of the games that you may be on the fence with either of your PC handhelds, how they run, check out my channel. And you know,
Absolutely.
and I'll probably, you know, go live next week. I'm going to try to do a little bit better. I'm just lazy sometimes, not enough time. So, yeah, that's where you can catch me. And again, guys, thank you so much. It was great to kind of talk. I know we didn't get through Fallout, but, you know, overall, it was a great conversation.
We'll definitely make up for it next week. We're going to cover like 2 episodes a week, so I'm going to try to bring more people in to see they get their thoughts. But hey, thank you for coming through, brother. I know you haven't really been on other podcasts. I figured this would be a good one to reach out to you about. Maybe I can get you back in the future. We can really fully cover this the way I wanted to. But we just had so much to talk about, and we were all all in it on the
Oh, we got
wrestling part.
deviated.
Oh yeah.
We did.
I
We
guess
definitely got deviated.
My last thing I would say is, you know what? If you're looking for a handheld, do not get a ROG Ally. Just get a Go, and get all these other
I
stuff.
knew you weren't going to
And-
leave out of here without
and
saying
if,
something.
and if you really want a good engine, do not play an Unreal Engine.
Oh, terrible. No, thank you for coming through. Besides the terrible slander, and I'm going to make sure to put your socials and stuff into the show later on.
All right, man.
Matter of fact,
All
could you DM me all your stuff to make sure so I can, you know, I'll make sure to post it right later on tonight. But yeah, brother, thank you for coming through. And last but not least, Yoby, where can the good folks find you, and what will you be up to?
All right, before I get to that, we got a shout out to Spartan661 for the super chat.
Oh
He
yes,
said,
I'll get to him.
Missionary is respectable at John Wolf.
Yes, you see, but see, I think he wanted to hear that in my great
course.
voice, though, Yoby. I'm sorry. Spartan
Okay.
611.
Missionary is respectable. Is
There
that
you
better?
go. There you go. Put a little bass into that. Spartan 661. Missionary is respectable. Yes, yes. Thank you, John Wolf. Oh, excuse me, not John Wolf. Like I'm reading this thing there. Thank you, Spartan, for the $1.99 super chat. Appreciate you, brother. Yeah. Now, Yoby, where can the good folks find you, brother?
You can find me, well, first and foremost, Umbra, thank you for the invite. It's a pleasure.
Absolutely.
I think it's our first time podcasting, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And
Always talk, of course, in the chats and things like that, and
Yes,
DMs,
yes, we do.
whatever. Yeah, but never on
Danny
the show.
McG, it is a pleasure, brother.
Likewise.
First time ever, first time. But you guys can find me at LegendaryYOBY on Twitter. You will always, if not every day, either every other day or once a week, you will always see me post a positive message going out every single time. Believe it or not, that's kind of low key how I built my Twitter following. Just going talking about gaming, but majority just talking about positive stuff, putting a lot of things in perspective and just getting the positive out there, because you never know. Out of all the followers we all have, you never know who might log on Twitter that's having a bad day, and if they could see a positive tweet, that maybe that tweet can change their whole day around, you know. So that's why I always try to keep that first and foremost. But you can find me on Twitter, LegendaryYOBY, just posting great stuff. You can find me on Xbox as Yoby1, Yoby the number 1 in 7. You can find me on PlayStation at Dragonheart Yoby. You can find me on Nintendo, but that is in my Twitter, because I'm not gonna put my.
I was going to
social
say, you got to
security
start downloading. You're right.
number. Man,
Find me at 8624H.
no, I'm telling you, Nintendo, if you guys hearing, please do away with that number shit.
Please. It's
Get a gamer
dumb.
tag system. It's
Yeah.
so much easier, bro. But
Well
thank
past
you.
prime for that to change. But yeah, Yoby,
I-
thank you
I
for
had
coming
fun.
through,
Thank you,
brother.
bro.
Yeah,
Hell yeah,
absolutely.
bro.
Had a lot of fun. Well, I mean, we got sidetracked, but we were all talking passionately about what we liked. So it is what it
But
is.
listen, I'm gonna
I'll
throw this
take
out there
that
for
on
you.
any day of the week. Yeah.
Right. Throw this out there for you. I'm always off on Wednesday and Thursday. So if you
Oh,
ever down
perfect.
person, let me
Yeah.
know.
Hey, listen, don't tell me about threatening me with a good time. Absolutely, brother. I'll reach out to you again. Like I said, we will be covering
man, let me know.
future episodes of the Fallout, so I can bring you back for sure within the
hell
next,
yeah.
if not the next week, because I think I had somebody in mind, a different guest already reached out to, but if not, that will definitely be a follow up. So don't worry about it at all. Definitely
Sweet, just keep
we'll
me
have you
posted,
back.
man.
Absolutely.
No problem.
And of course, we can have you talk on our wrestling talks with us too, and you watch
you already
AEW
know.
as well as Danny, so you guys can definitely
indeed.
cover a lot of that. But
Yes, indeed.
and to my co-star, Daniel J. McG, thank you, brother, for your great takes and information and everything like that and knowledge. Can you tell the good folks where they can find you, what you will be up to?
I'll
Yeah,
keep
what
it
up,
real
Matt?
simple. You can find me on Twitter at Daniel J. McG or my YouTube channel, Daniel McG.
There you go. Great time. Loved it. We will
Went a
be
little
better.
long.
We
Someone
went
was late for work.
We went way long. I'm definitely going to have to rush out of here.
Man.
It was the passion, the game passion and show passion and thug passion on. No, but seriously, thank you all in the chat for staying here with us and staying down. I know it was a lot to slog through. Definitely going to get a better coverage of Fallout next week for sure. We'll move on to episodes 3 and 4, and we'll dedicate a stronger time to really, diving deep into those. But thank you guys for being here. Gray, thanks for holding us down as my brother. Thank everybody for the super chats. We appreciate you guys. And we will get out of here. You all have a great night. And we will talk to you later.
Peace. Have a good night.